Hi, guys. I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are back. We are live with a guest.
Who's the guest?
Who is the guest?
Who's the guest?
Introduce
That's
yourself.
me.
You're back for the
Back
third time. Third time,
again.
I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe fourth? I can't remember now.
It's been a bit.
But I'm Tzipporah from Sipor Ceramics, joining back at Wheel Talk Podcast. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks for being back.
Always fun to schmooze.
Mm-hmm. Of course, after 30 minutes of schmoozing before we even started.
Hey, it's a snooze fest over here.
So predictable.
Better than a snooze fest. That's good.
True.
I'll always take the
We're
schmooze
so
fest over a snooze
snoozy.
fest. I mean, Becca's laying in bed, so we don't know. She might be yawning. She's been good on her yawning lately. Maybe it's the recording time. I don't know, but
I have been good on my yawning. People get mad at me at work now for yawning, and I'm like, bro, I just don't have enough air, okay?
Is that a medical condition?
It might be. I don't know.
My mom sometimes gasps for breath.
Oh, that seems not okay.
It scares me, but she says it's okay.
that reminds me of the
Okay.
so I had some downtime yesterday and I just started watching Love on the Spectrum season 3, and there's a guy on there that yawns. He was going on like blind dating, and he was yawning, and his parents were like, "Make sure not to yawn." And it's funny because he's talking to women and he's like, "Oh," and trying to like block it. And it was pretty funny.
That's the most wholesome show in the entire world.
I never watched it, and I was like, you know what? Because I saw a little clip on Threads or something with one of the guys, and I was like, this is really, it just makes you smile when you watch
It
it.
does.
And then I'm like, let me watch this. So I'm like a couple episodes in.
Was it the Jack Black? Was it the Jack Black clip that I shared?
It was the one with Tanner from the newest season, which is the guy that's in Clemson, South Carolina, I believe.
Okay, because I shared one with, I don't
He
know
kind
who
of
it
looks
was.
like he would be like a frat boy, sort of like that's his kind of like look, I guess.
Oh,
But
I shared one where his like goal in life was to meet Jack Black before he was 30.
mm,
And um and then Jack Black comes out, who is obviously a national treasure already. And it was a very national treasure moment.
I did
Love
not see
it.
that clip. But I might need to go back in time and watch the other 2 seasons once I finish this one.
It's a very wholesome show. I love the representation. It's awesome.
Yeah. I follow one of the girls that's on it on Instagram, but I don't watch it, but I like the idea.
Yeah. You can get like a really good idea nowadays of an entire season of every show through like reels, the clips that are just,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
you don't even need to watch the shows anymore.
Uh
Yeah, I generally don't watch any reality kind of things. I did watch some of the like Indian matchmaking, Jewish matchmaking, which we talked about a while ago on
Yeah.
a previous one,
Love
and
those.
some of those. So like those have been good to watch, but other than that,
Yeah.
this is kind of in
Like the
that short
drama
list.
reality TV
No
is very
thanks.
different to these kinds of reality TV where like I guess the hope is not to stir drama, but just to like
Get
be
a
a window
peek. You're
into
yeah,
people's lives. Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Which
I
is
feel like with Love on the Spectrum, the entire world is just like giving them a big old hug.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's making fun of them, and that's the best thing in the whole world.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, like, especially the TISM crowd has been made fun of for their whole lives, and it's cool to have it not be like that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So you're
what are
in
we
the
talking about?
U.S. We just saw each other at NCECA. Did you
That
have any
was,
general like takeaways from NCECA? We just did an NCECA recap episode, but you know, how are you
yeah,
feeling after being there?
I
You've
loved
been a
it.
few times, so
This was my third year going, and I think like I can't stand by this more, this is my stance on NCECA, that the more you talk to people, the more you gain. And I think that it's so valuable. And really like I did so much of that this year too. I'm only able to go for 2 days ever. Like I usually am out by Friday because wherever it is, I'm flying back for Shabbat. So I'm flying in for the Wednesday, Thursday. And it's like, if you're only there for 2 days, or even if you're there for the whole time, it's like such a short period in our whole existence of lives. Like it's just like 3, 4 days, whatever it is, to network and meet people and learn new things, that it's like you feel like you have to take every second and utilize it. I think breaks are important, which Becca, you've shared, obviously. That taking breaks are important, but I don't know. I loved it. I love networking. I love schmoozing to people.
Yeah, we were sharing on the recap that we would, if people hadn't been, we would recommend them going for a couple days. Make it more
Yeah.
financially doable,
Oh, yeah.
less of like overwhelming with all the
Mm-hmm.
stimulus and the hey, I'm never going to get all my money's worth. If you just cut it
Yeah.
to I'm going to be there for 2 days. I feel like a Wednesday Thursday is a good balance, honestly,
Yeah,
because
I love the
Thursday
Wednesday,
is the
Thursday.
conference like talks if you want to do that. Wednesday you could be in the expo hall.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
it's a good
And
time frame.
also, like another idea, not that you asked, for like making it more financially possible, but here I go, unsolicited advice is um to see if you can volunteer at NCECA.
Oh
Because
yeah, we
Mhm.
talked about that.
oh, you
Yeah.
did. Okay,
Yeah, we
good.
didn't know when the timing was. I think it's like November, December when they ask for those
For
people, but
volunteers. Yeah. Well, if you're signed up to the emails, you get all the emails, and that's a great way to get in. And also, I think like if somebody's going to commit to going for 1 or 2 days of the conference and paying like a smaller ticket price, but like staying in the area for a little bit longer and then like doing the afternoons, the galleries, like you can
Mhm.
go to the conference for 1 day and be there from 8 to 5 and then, or longer, however late, the latest thing is. And then the second day, not at all go to the conference, only get a 1 day ticket and then just be able to enjoy, all the galleries and pop-ups and things like that. Like there
we
are, yeah.
we weren't sure how much a 1 day ticket was. Do you remember? Have you bought a 1 day ticket?
I didn't I this year I bought a 1 day plus an add-on day, and I think my total might have been 280 if I recall correctly. So then like maybe the 1 day is like 100 something, 120, 150.
Okay.
Um, there's always the question of, of travel and Airbnb or hotel. It all adds up. There's no question
Oh yeah.
that it's an investment. And I guess, I don't know, I guess it depends on what your goals are, right? Like if you have a reason, like something that you can gain that's more than just seeing friends, if your financial situation holds you back from going, then like it could be really worthwhile. But if it's just to see your friends, that's a little trickier.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like you could have squirrels in your bathroom window like we did.
You could. And hidden speakers, and you could have a dirty bathroom like I did in my Airbnb. You too could live this luxurious life
Yes.
for a lot of money.
Our price ended up being not too bad for the Airbnb per person, but yeah.
Yeah, no, mine wasn't so bad either. I booked it far in advance, so it really wasn't bad. And I was walking distance, so I didn't need a car.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
But
nice.
anyway, yeah, takeaways were that it was fun. I loved being there. I gained a lot. Thank
Very
God.
nice. Very nice.
Love working with Speedball always.
Of course. Yeah, you've
Always.
probably added to the companies you've worked with so that you can offset some of those costs over the years as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, obviously it's not a privilege that everyone has, like, a relationship with a company that they can work. But you know what? The truth of the matter is that if you want to put yourself out there, like you could probably reach out to companies and be like, are you looking for volunteers in exchange for a ticket? Just to like help set up, help manage. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, I
But
was saying a
yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of these small companies run a tight ship with very few people on staff, and moving the entire staff to this conference for a whole week is a big undertaking. So if they can offset that with some volunteers, quote
Hmm.
unquote, because some booths get during a specific allotted amount of tickets, so
Yeah.
you can help, and they're like, you know, we're already having these tickets that we can't give to anybody because our staff has to stay back or whatever.
Yeah,
than people coming to
exactly.
you anyways and say, "Hey, can I get a conference pass?"
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. I feel like there's ways to think creatively, but it doesn't work, always. But yeah, that definitely offsets some of my cost.
Hmm.
Working with Speedball, love them. 10 out of 10
Okay.
would recommend. Five
Nice.
star.
Did
Yeah,
you
it's
say
always
9 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I said 10.
Bitch. No, I'm kidding.
Often used to describe me? Question mark.
So I think the last time you were on, I'm trying to think. Well, I should probably look up when this was, but we've obviously talked a lot about the workshops. I wanted to
Yeah.
talk more about the workshops. Um, and as I'm searching here to see when you were on last,
Must have been,
261 July of 2024.
yeah.
So you were kind of in the midst of more workshops.
Yeah.
So because one thing is we got a listener question. We got a couple listener questions about workshops. One of them was more about in-person workshops, but there was one that was more general to hosting workshops and the type of information to include. So I kind of want to start there and see how we would kind of answer this one and adapt it to kind of the online experience. And then I have some other ones we could probably talk about for the workshops.
Cool.
So this was from Punchy Pottery on Instagram, Christy. And she writes, I was wondering, how do you decide when to host a workshop? What kind of information do you include? All of it or just the gist? And how do you go about setting a time frame for it? I'm definitely interested in giving it a shot, but don't really know where to start. Any advice or info is greatly appreciated. So this is general. It doesn't have to be virtual or in person,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It
um,
sounds like it's more of an in-person question, but
yeah.
we could apply it to both probably.
Yeah, because you've hosted a variety of people. You've hosted your
Yeah.
own where you're teaching.
Yeah.
You've probably talked with some of the artists about like, I would like to work with you. I don't know exactly what I want to talk about or how you want to
Yeah.
frame it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah.
So I wonder, I'm not sure if this person's asking about hosting or teaching their own workshop, but regardless, I think like having something, the topic is probably the most important thing. If a person themselves wants to teach a workshop, like what do you have of value? Everybody has something of value to share. That's like, I believe that firmly. So, like, what is your thing of value that you have to share? Or what is one of the things of value that you have to share?
Hmm.
That maybe is the first thing. And then if you want to host a workshop and you want somebody else to teach it, so say you have a studio space and you want to bring an artist in and have them teach it, like what is drawing you to that specific artist? Have your studio mates or friends mentioned to you that they want to learn this skill or whatever it is. Um, and then choosing the artist or you yourself choosing your skill. And I think like the biggest step is just doing it. I think we all hold ourselves back sometimes from new experiences or pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone for fear of failure. So I think like the first thing would be to decide, I'm just doing this. Like you pick a date, you pick a time, you put it on the calendar, you let people know that it's happening, to hold yourself accountable, and you just do it.
I'm looking at the Instagram. I think it's a woman, but the designs, I put it in the chat. If you look her up on Instagram, it's really nice design. It's got some it's really cool
Mm.
graphical work.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
carving, it's drawing, it's
It's
functional
different.
pieces with decor with decoration all around it. It's like I want to say motifs or something. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's got
Yeah.
little
These are
additions
beautiful.
to forms. So like
Oh, wow.
I don't know what they're interested in teaching, but
I
the
mean,
forms and technique like there's techniques there that I can see that could be teachable and sought out.
okay. So here, let's make a hypothesis here. I wonder if Christy, Christy has
Oh,
this
Christy. Yes,
amazing
that's right.
skill, right? And maybe Christy has a connection to a local studio and wants to teach her skill to the people at the studio. Or maybe Christy has her own studio space and wants to host it. So then it's like, yeah, you clearly have something of value to share. Everyone has something of value, but this is your something of value, right? This like surface design technique. Um, so you just pick a date and time, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
start advertising. I think that's it. I really don't think, I think that anyone can do this. There's enough room in the education world of ceramics, sharing our knowledge with others for everybody to do something like this, create opportunities for people to learn. So whether it's in person or virtual, it's just about doing it.
What do
I,
you think of the idea of somebody that's not, let's say they haven't taught at all before?
yeah.
What do you think of the idea of doing like a free workshop just to get their
Uh,
feet wet so they don't feel the pressure of somebody paid to be here to do that, to learn from me when I
yeah.
haven't actually taught this at all to anybody?
Yeah. I think it's hard. It's hard for people to do free things. I guess let's say, somebody has a skill they've never taught
Or
before
maybe
and
it's
they
a
want
low dollar figure, but
or
I
it's
was
like
thinking free as a
yeah,
way to take the
low
pressure
dollar
off.
figure exactly. Or just saying like, hey, five pottery friends that I, know that are local want to come over and you guys can be my students for a night and we can just see how this goes and then you can give me feedback and tell me how I can do
Mm.
better next time. Like I think that's valuable. Free for friends, yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
And then like low dollar count for people that want to learn this skill but you've never taught it. Um, I think
Yeah,
it's
that's kind of how I did the bookkeeping workshops when I started. I think
yeah.
I had a very small group. I said, here it is. I don't even, Zipporah, you might have been in that first group. Was it free?
I what?
It might have
Oh,
been.
I wasn't in a free one. I paid not
I
a
think,
lot.
yeah, I think I might have given it to like three people or something
I
and just
wasn't,
got some
yeah,
feedback or something. And then
yeah.
I started a certain amount and I think I limited the seats or something.
Yeah, yeah. You limited the seats. You had
Or maybe
limited
I
the
sent
seats, the
it
one that I was
directly
at.
to people instead of like opening it publicly or something.
I was like one of the first in one of the first bookkeeping workshops that you did.
Hmm.
Game changer
Yeah.
for my business.
You start somewhere, you feel confident in the lesson plan,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then you refine it,
Yeah.
5-10%. You get better at repeating yourself
Mm-hmm.
and knowing where people are getting stuck, where people understand, where you can push quicker through certain areas,
Yeah.
and then you can actually charge more once you refine that if
Did
you
you
want.
did you get feedback in your first few bookkeeping workshops? Did you ask for feedback?
I definitely ask for feedback. I mean, I continue to ask for feedback when I
Yeah,
put the email,
same.
when I send the reminder email. Well, not the reminder, the thank you emails with the recording and everything. I say like, all of your feedback is appreciated because it
Yeah.
helps make future workshops better and
Yeah.
the system better and all that. Like, I've got feedback over
Yeah.
the years and made it a lot better overall. I mean, I say a lot better, but relatively a lot better. So like probably 10% better or 15% better from where it started like 3 to 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And some of that's naturally going to come with how I've evolved it from how I use it myself. Just like, if Christy's evolving the way that she does a certain technique, she's going to
Yeah.
adjust with what tools she's using or what color layering combo or glaze combination looks best with certain carvings or waxing techniques or whatever. You kind
Yeah.
of figure it out for your own process and then you adapt it for somebody in your
And the
team.
more you teach, like anyone who's taught, a beginner wheel throwing class, you'll know the first few times you've given that class, you're kind of still learning how you want to give things over. And then by the 10th, 20th, 30th class you've given, you're almost talking in your sleep because you know what works and you know what gets people to understand what you're trying to say. And that like becomes a little bit more comfortable and,
Hmm.
you adjust over time for the moments where you find people aren't understanding. So yeah, I definitely think that evolution.
Becca, Becca, have you had to adjust significantly with? I mean, I feel like the workshops you've done the most have they? I mean, I guess more recently has been the jewelry ones. But are there other ones that you've adjusted significantly over time with iterations?
No, I think that I'm lucky in the sense that I taught classes for such a long time. So, and then I started doing not demos, consultations, and then I started doing workshops. So the consultations helped me like figure out what I wanted to do in the workshops, essentially because everybody essentially has the same issues that they want to address
Yeah.
typically. And
And that's the wheel throwing workshops you're talking about, not
yeah, the
the
wheel throwing
jewelry work.
workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and so no, there wasn't a ton of like growth. Like sometimes maybe I'll learn one technique or something that I'm like, oh yeah, I should throw that in. But I feel like I was lucky in the sense of like kind of having figured it out beforehand.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean like Sipor has seen me do two of the throwing workshops and they were essentially the same. Um,
You did the throwing efficiently twice,
yeah, and then
and the nesting
the
mixing bowls.
yeah. And I feel like that one wasn't the same, but that's because it was a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But the efficiency
The
one
yeah.
yeah, they didn't really change.
No, they didn't. They were pretty much the same.
Yeah, you've also got to get a feeling of there's probably some people that don't feel like they want to just repeat themselves. So they're
Yeah.
like, do I want to? It's kind of like people that go and they teach at a local studio and they teach the same beginner wheel throwing class, but the students are different. Like, I'm guessing some people just get tired of that and they're like, I only want to do this for so long. I want to do another class. I'm tired of this. But for some of it, like people want the one-on-one attention because there could be um an itch to say, "Oh, well, why don't I just record this and just sell the recording instead of having to go through repeating myself with people live?"
Yeah.
Like there's a there's an it's enticing to do that, but I suspect it's harder to sell that thing
Yeah.
to get like quote unquote passive income when there's not an urgency to get it because it's just available for recording.
Yeah. And there's something really valuable about being able to ask questions in real time as as somebody's watching something happen. You can always ask questions generally I mean, in my experience of virtual workshops, you can always, ask questions later on and have them answered. But in the moment, joining a live virtual workshop or a live in-person workshop and being able to ask questions as they come is very valuable. And
Sephora, have you ever considered like doing like I mean, I know you've kind of done something similar to this, but I was thinking about like um if like let's assume I wanted to do an efficiencies workshop class and it was maybe like an hour and a half and like I only had 20 spots so that there could be a little bit more like pointed questions, and then that was like a continuing like 20 spot situation. Have you considered that?
like it being more of a classroom setting
Yeah,
than
I guess more
yeah,
of a classroom setting.
like people could be on their wheels throwing at the same time type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I mean, I've done for my own wheel throwing classes, I've done that. I've done the people throwing or just a smaller class so that people can kind of focus on their own needs. But I haven't done it from a workshop perspective. I think that the difference, I don't know. It's a good idea. I wonder if there would need to be a different price point for that for an artist to be focusing on individual students' needs. So if I was hosting this workshop and you were teaching about efficiency, for example, and we had 20 students there at their wheels, your time is much more, your energy needs to be much more focused on what's happening on the screen, as opposed to when you're just teaching something in a demonstration based workshop and you're not focused on other people's needs in the same way,
Right.
you know?
And I mean, even if you charge $60 per student and you had 20 people, that's only $120.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$1,200.
That's $1,200. Yeah.
Never
But
mind. That's $1,200.
1,200. Yeah.
Becca, when you said that, did you mean it would be a repeat for those 20 people? So you'd have 20 people designated and then you would change, you'd basically have a separate class where you would repeat yourself 3 weeks down the
No.
road and you had a different 20, or would you keep it like a
Oh, yes.
weekly thing?
Yes. No. Like a one-off workshop, but it's like a focused workshop.
Yeah.
It's a little more like hands-on, quote unquote, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was asking Tzipporah if she'd be open to something where it's like a built, kind of more structured, like a weekly class
Mhm.
where you would build it on and you would say, "Hey, we meet every Monday at this time,"
Yeah.
and people kind of like virtually join a class on their
Yeah.
wheels, and you kind of go
And
through
then
things
from
together.
that idea, Ryan, I had been thinking like, what if I lined up teachers in like a weekly session, like separate from the regular virtual workshops, it being something like, you know, a beginner's wheel throwing taught by teacher A, and then to build on that, like 3 types of bowls taught by teacher B the next week, and then, like built on it in the
Yeah.
syllabus, but also being able to learn from different teachers because I love when people see what they can learn from different people. Every teacher has their own way of expressing things, and it can be so valuable to learn from different artists. So that's like another seed in my
Mm.
brain of like a way to kind of do the syllabus that you build on one thing to the next. And you're signing up for, let's say, 6 classes on, and you know what the topics are, but you're learning from different people. Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, it's an
Yeah,
idea.
that's where there's so many options on the table, and in doing it virtually, there's just so many more people that you're available for.
Mm,
And the times people can flex with what time of day works for them, depending on where they're
mhm.
located and where you're located and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you got a lot more flexibility than people having to come to a physical location and show
Yeah.
up and clean up and make sure you meet the time slot so everything's looking spiffy for the next class. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? You just shut the Zoom off and you're done. Everything's their
Love it.
problem to clean up.
Yeah. I love it. It's great.
I like the idea of the thinking more about the workshops that I was kind of thinking about. I like the idea of like not doing it class style, because then people can be like, "Oh, I just did this workshop. It was like so great, blah blah blah," or whatever. And also you don't have to talk to them again. You know?
In which situation are you not talking to people again? Did you mean?
If you do like a one-off workshop where it was like let's say you had 20 people or 10 people and it
Like the
was
more
more focused.
hands-on. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes the part that I hate about teaching is that the dumb person in that class has to come back the next week.
My personal preference is for people to talk to me again. So I think we differ in this just slightly.
You're just like virtually blocking this person that joined your workshop because you never want to talk to them again.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I beg people to talk to me. I'm like, please talk to me right now. I
Yeah,
want.
Tzipporah, do you know how many students you've had in the last like year of classes and workshops? Like,
Yeah,
you've probably had like 1,000 students, right?
it's just over 1,000.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You actually counted it was over 1,000?
I checked, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's great.
I bet
Yeah,
your
it's
email
great.
list is so fucking solid.
I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, it's great. It was built quickly in a short time because of the workshops, but I watch the stats all the time, and yeah, I've got like I have just over 1,000 or like almost 1,500 emails, but um yeah, it's like constantly fluctuating, people unsubscribing. But I try to utilize it. It's valuable to build for sure. Um it could be better, but better than nothing.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
So let's say somebody's out there and they don't know you, they don't know an interface or something that can host it for them. Like how would you recommend somebody go about hosting an online workshop themselves and like getting started?
Yeah.
Like what
So
tech do they need or what like
yeah,
how
so
should they go about just
I'll
getting
tell you exactly what I do. Obviously what I do works for me. So this is just an option and my preference. But it doesn't have to be what anybody else does. I use Zoom to host all of my workshops. I think that it does not need, my personal opinion is that it doesn't need to be fancier than that. No frills is fine, especially if you're like, I want to try hosting a workshop. Um, but like I need to have a cool platform. Like, no, you're good. You're good with Zoom. Like you don't need to overthink it. You can, log into Zoom. If you don't have an account, you can get, 45 minutes free. You can ask a friend who has a professional account or paid account to borrow it for this one time you're trying to do a workshop before investing the cost. And
Yeah,
then
nobody cares what link if your link has Sipor
yeah,
Ceramics in it versus
yeah.
like RD Ceramics or whatever.
Nobody looks. Nobody looks. They
Who
just click the
cares?
link.
They just want to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Know what meeting room it is.
Exactly. So I would say like using Zoom is awesome. You can record it in the cloud, and then have access to editing it after. Um, and then I usually have an artist that I work with or myself if I'm teaching to like camera angles using a tablet and my phone and I just, an angle further back so that somebody can see your face and then an angle closer up on your hands and then that's literally it. Like I don't think you need expensive equipment or microphones. I think good lighting is helpful, but it's not it doesn't really matter. I think that the key is like remembering that you're offering something of value and that something of value is not your camera skills and, your background behind you. It's the skill that you're about to offer. So, it's your surface decoration, Christy, or it's your business know-how, Ryan. So it's like it doesn't need to be fancy,
Yeah,
It
the
can,
content versus just the
yeah. And
the look and feel of
yeah,
everything. Like don't
yeah.
spend hundreds of dollars on making your studio like my studio looks like a mess. I
Yeah.
can't teach in here. Like maybe you put a curtain behind you or something. Like
Yeah, or remember that everyone's studio looks like a mess, and
yeah.
people are not coming for your studio aesthetic. I think that we get in our own way for fear of many things, for fear of not impressing people, for fear of failure, for fear of it not being successful as you had hoped. Like my gauge for success in a workshop is one person has learned something new. So as long as I have one person present, one person is likely learning something new. I have had 3 people at a workshop, and I have had many more than that at a workshop. But my goal is that the quality of teaching and learning is great, and that someone is learning something new. And I feel like if you set your bar super low and you just say, I'm going to try this thing and see what happens, then you're always going to be successful because you're trying something new.
Has that gauge for success changed for you over time?
Yes, certainly. It certainly has in the direction that you wouldn't think. So, like I feel like at first I really, really wanted to have a lot of people at all the workshops. Like I really wanted to be super successful in quantity of student body.
And that
I
could be like 15, 20 people
Yeah,
versus,
like
you don't need 100 people, but maybe
no,
you
no,
want
no, no.
15 or 20.
At that like it started for me with like I wanted to have 25 or more at every workshop, because of what that payout was for myself and the artist. And then like over time I kind of realized like I much prefer that the quality of teaching and learning is high. And that I know that whoever is there is learning something because you can have 100 people at a workshop and have a really bad teacher, not who doesn't have an amazing skill. They have an amazing skill, but not the skill of teaching. And that's like really less than ideal. Um, versus
You know,
having
people walking away like, I definitely got my money's worth and then some.
yeah,
Or the
yeah,
experience itself was worth it, or just being able to see that person's process in
yeah,
detail for that period of
exactly.
time, focused without looking at an Instagram reel and like trying to
Yeah,
piece the gaps together. And
exactly, exactly. And I think that if a person is confident in their ability to share something of value with others, then their goal should just be, I can teach one person, and just try it. Just try it once. See what happens. What does it hurt, you know?
Mhm. I think there might be ways that you could. I feel like Instagram might have ways that you can have channels and groups and stuff that are limited. I don't know if it's specific. I know they do it for subscriptions, but you could probably like host videos that are live that people have paid for to be in.
Yeah,
So like that could be
a good starting point
a
too.
good starting point if you already have like a subset of people that are interested. Um, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the Zoom, I mean, if you just say, "Hey, I'm limited to 40 minutes," that's all it's going to be. I
Yeah,
plan to do a 30-minute demo with 10 minutes of questions because
yeah,
that's all Zoom's going to allow me for free. That's what we're doing? Plus it
yeah.
takes the pressure off. I mean, can you demo for 30 minutes rather than, ooh, I got to fill like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think just doing it, like it's so much easier said than done, and I know that. Um, but just pushing out of that comfort zone and doing it is
Hmm.
really important.
Nike did have something going for them when they
Just
when
do
they
it.
came up. Yeah, just do it.
Yep.
Hmm. So let's say they're evolved in like teaching and stuff and they've already got some content. Maybe they're like, hey, I want something that's downloadable, or I want to like host a suite of talks because I already know some things I want to talk about. Like, I'm
Mhm.
confident in my abilities. I just want to do it in a way that's digital, that maybe is scalable. Like, um, kind of where are you at now that you could recommend for somebody that's kind of at that next level? She's talking off camera for a second. She'll be back here in 1 second. She's thoughtfully thinking of what she wants to say.
For all of those who are listening that want a fidget toy, that I found a really nice fidget toy recently, and it's called a Needoh, Needoh, and it's a cube. It's a
Sorry,
Ne-
cube.
Neato.
children.
Needoh,
Neato. That's neato, Becca.
Needoh.
My children would love that. Those ones that are knocking on my door. Those
Because
hooligans.
it's Needoh.
Um, Sorry, what was the question again that I was not
So
listening to?
for somebody that's confident in their abilities teaching and they want to move to the next level and they're not like hosting their first one, like what would you recommend would be a good like scalable, I'm gonna say platform, but like format for doing something, whether it's I want something downloadable or I want
Yeah.
something that's like scalable, or is a good way to collect people and like host multiple workshops kind of building on one another, or
Oh, good
like
question.
I've got, I got surface design technique workshops, I've got throwing
Yeah.
workshops.
Well, I guess it depends on like how a person wants to do that, if they want it to be live or if they want it to be pre-recorded. There's loads of ways to sell pre-recorded easily. Like, I would say like most website hosting platforms are gonna have an option for subscription or video content for sale. I know I use Squarespace and they do have. And then like, yeah, selling pre-recorded in that kind of way is probably easiest. And then if you want to do some sort of live continuation, live and virtual. I mean, I personally don't see why Zoom is not good enough for that. I don't see why
Hmm.
it's not scalable.
You just
Uh,
have the back end work. You just have to manage you sell the spot, you make a list of
yeah, yeah. So
who's in
then,
that group, and then
right, right. So
you
Kajabi,
send
I've heard
out,
people are
yeah.
happy with, in terms of that. Like, I think with Kajabi, you can, I don't know if Kajabi does live actually.
Yeah, but it's so fucking expensive.
It's very expensive. Well, that's why I love Zoom. I feel like it's good. Yeah, well,
It's
you
not
can,
so messy. It just seems like you just have to be organized.
it's a lot of steps, but there's definitely ways to cut down on the steps. Like I personally do not cut down on steps because I'm a control freak and nervous, I think. Like I don't want the wrong links to go out, but if I wanted to, trust in Squarespace's abilities, I might be able to pay for an option in Squarespace. So still I'm paying for something where each individual workshop or class has its own email confirmation with the link already.
So you have like a thank you page, a thank you confirmation email that has a
Yeah.
unique Zoom link for it.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
pre-set up the Zoom links
Yeah,
as
exactly.
separate
Each
meetings.
listing, exactly. Um, Instead, I send every email manually. I really like, seeing the names of the people who are joining workshops. It's very personal to me. And I, personalize every email, which probably websites can do automatically.
Hmm.
And I'm just working harder, not smarter. But
So
um,
you're sending them directly from your like Gmail account or
yeah.
your, okay, yeah. Are you using Gmail templates to standardize?
Yeah, I have templates. I have used like my allotted templates now every
Wait,
time.
is there a max on
There
templates?
is a max because I have had my templates disappearing. For anyone who doesn't know about this, Ryan told me about this. Thanks, Ryan. Gmail has templates that you can create, email templates, and for every workshop, I create a template. For every recording, I create a template, and then like, which means that, I have a Becca Otis workshop info email I send out to each person that is signed up. And then I have a Becca Otis workshop
Hmm.
recording email that goes out after the workshop. And yeah, there's definitely a max amount of templates that you can have. I don't know how many it is. I didn't count. Maybe
And the
30.
template it just saves your subject and your body content. And
Correct.
then I don't believe it includes attachments. I don't think you can attach
It
things.
does. Yes, you
Oh,
can.
it does? Okay. I did not know that. I need to
That'd
try
be
Mhm.
that.
really fucking shady if it didn't include attachments.
I didn't know that because I just send it and then I'll attach the
Nope.
whatever, the calendar link or the Zoom or the PDF. Some of them when I do the bookkeeping ones I attach a PDF for the
Yeah. Yeah.
getting
There's
started
so
guide.
many tools available to make this easier. But I also think like this is already too far down the line for people who are considering starting something like this. Like
Hmm.
this is already too much information. Like literally you just need a Zoom account and to do your workshop once,
Yeah.
or your friend's basement or your studio or whatever it is. Like just do it once.
Hmm.
Oh, and you need ManyChat.
Oh, freaking love ManyChat.
Yeah,
I
let's talk
pay.
about the marketing side of it.
Okay.
How should people how have you found the workshops that are the most successful?
Mm,
And that could be specifically marketing or it could be topics or techniques or teachers like
mm.
I don't know if you want to which one you want to start with, but
Who was
Well,
your first success story? Sorry.
was that you, Becca?
who is your
Yeah, it was.
first workshop?
Ryan, was that you? These two integral parts of my journey, workshop journey. To answer your question about like finding success in workshops, I don't have the answer, unfortunately. That's not helpful, but I love being honest, so here I am. I haven't cracked the code for what makes for the most successful workshop. I haven't input all the data into ChatGPT yet. Maybe he can
Mhm.
help me, but I haven't cracked the code on topic, time of day, day of the week. I have tested it all and had varying degrees of success with them all. So I think that it's a gamble unless you put a lot of money into advertising. And I don't have the means to do that. Perhaps if I did, I would see a different result. But I think that that would help. A lot of money into advertising would help no matter what. Um, like ads, advertising. But for marketing, I do think it makes a difference. What are we looking at?
Yeah, what is that, Becca? Is that a gopher?
No, this is Clyde the capybara.
Capybara.
Oh, Clyde the Capybara. Yeah.
Does it have eyes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
For those of you listening, that's a stuffed animal there's not a real capybara in Becca's van.
Becca got a new pet. It's a capybara.
It's a capybara. Um, Often at people's homes and vans. Hmm.
Because everybody needs a stuffed animal.
Yes. Anywho's about marketing.
I suspect marketing is a variable that does make an impact,
Yes.
and that's
Marketing,
universal no matter what
correct.
the workshop is.
Correct. Marketing makes a huge difference. And I think that there's so many ways that a person can market their workshops, their in-person or their virtual differently, but definitely ways. Ads are obviously we know about paid ads. That's a given. Um, Using paid ads if you have the means to allocate money towards that, then do. Especially because on Instagram you can location base your ads. So if you have something in person, then that's really valuable to push. But if it's virtual, I think like what they say, what is it, the seven something about marketing and the seven that a person needs to see something 7 times before
Hmm.
they buy it.
Yeah.
So I don't remember
Right.
exactly what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The rule of 7. So I think that's what it is. So that means that if I'm just going to share something one time, the artist is not going to share anything at all that I'm working with, let's say, or let's say this is a wheel throwing workshop that I'm teaching myself. If I'm going to share about it once and 22 people see it and one person is kind of interested in it, I am not setting myself up for success there, right? But the more you share about something on social media, off social media, on stories, on threads, on Facebook, wherever on TikTok, wherever you are sharing things, the more of a chance of having eyeballs on it. And I think the marketing is really important. Um, if you're in doing something in person, post flyers in your local coffee shop and at your Whole Foods and Trader Joe's on the advert boards, and be creative, think outside the box. See if your local coffee shop that has a large Instagram following will share something with you. You know what I mean? Do a collaborative reel or something on social media. Um, I think that there's really great ways if you're doing something location based. Obviously, word of mouth helps. Um, but I think that marketing is really important. If your goal is to have attendance, if your
Hmm.
goal is to just try this out, then kind of create your group for yourself if you want to test it out once and message some people that have, reached out to you and said, "Oh, well, I love your process. I'd love to."
I Yeah, I would encourage if you're not. I mean, this kind of relates to the mailing list thing that we talked about with Heidi a few weeks ago, or I talked about with Heidi a few weeks ago. But I create a bunch of segments of subscribers. So people that are interested in soda workshops, they're in a certain segment of users. People that are interested in bookkeeping workshops are a certain segment of users.
On
So if
Instagram, you're talking about?
no, on my email list.
Because you can also create, uh, I don't know that you can create new, but you can kind of filter it in Instagram too, like put people in general and primary
Oh yeah, that's in messages.
in messages. Yeah.
Yeah, I was meaning like if people are interested in your certain techniques, if you're teaching something that's like adjacent to that, already use those groups of people that you've collected that showed
Mhm.
interest in your business at like if I was teaching a new business workshop, it wouldn't be outside of the scope of possibility that I should advertise that to my bookkeeping workshop email list because
Agreed.
it's related enough.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense to send it to my customers that are interested in buying my product. Like that doesn't make sense. I'm just opening myself up for unsubscribes. But
Yeah.
um so what kind of because you've done a number of variety of marketing with the artists, you've done some yourself, like
Hmm.
and you've got to be creative with how you do it. It's not just you got to get those reps in of talking about it.
Hmm.
Like there's a combination of showing something that's like eye-catching, there's
Yeah.
talking about something, having like hooks or text or
Yeah. I think that the problem with social media is that it's ever changing. So what worked 6 months ago to bring, people to join a workshop isn't going to work now. Um, but I think that there is value in following, trends and seeing what people um are taking in, and then just sharing
Hmm.
a lot of variety and what's kind of what kind of works right now. So, for example, I don't know exactly what's like it right now, but if you share a carousel with, some a little bit of text with the information about your workshop, time, place, price, topic, and then a person swipes and they see an image of what it is they're going to learn, and they swipe again and they see like a 20-second clip of what you're going to teach. That's giving, that's one option. And then another is using a trending audio and, hooking people with whatever 3 words that, you think will get it done. But I think that variety is good, and also like taking note of the trends. I don't love that how ever changing social media is in that. Like our attention spans have are so short that like we get bored of, one thing, we got to hop to the next so quickly that it makes it difficult to to have a true grasp on what works for marketing. But in my experience, it's been a variety of the things. All of the ways, sharing on stories, sharing uh, video clips, information, photos, and also yeah, I think the consistency with it is important as well.
And that marketing you're doing, it's like how early on are you do? I guess how far out are they scheduled generally, and then how
Yeah.
far out do you start marketing for it?
Yeah. I encourage people when I with my workshops, I encourage the artists that I work with to start advertising between 2 to 3 weeks before the workshop. When I was advertising earlier than that, I found that people showed interest but didn't buy because it was so far away. But my workshops are both live, and then you can purchase the recording after. So I feel like because of that, there's not as much scarcity. Like I got to get this right now, otherwise I'm going to miss out on it. Whether that's to my detriment or not. But I want to be offering learning. So I'm okay with, not having people feeling like they have to buy this right now. And then I feel like regardless of when you're going to start advertising, being consistent with it is really important. So it not be like if you decide I'm going to start advertising for this workshop a month and a half before it comes around. So 6 weeks. So 6 weeks out, I post something, and then 4 weeks out, I post another thing, and then 2 weeks,
Hmm.
1 week, 5 days, 3 days. That's like not, I feel like people are going to forget. They're not going to see it. What are the chances? You have so many things on our, what we're scrolling through, whatever it is, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, X, whatever it is that people are on, there's so many of them. So if you think that, you know, if you have 800 followers on Instagram and you share something once, 800 people are not seeing it
Right.
that follow you. So I think posting consistently, if you're posting for 6 weeks, post every 3 days for 6 weeks about your workshop.
Also
And
do an
that,
action shot or action, whatever it's called, to action. Tell them about ManyChat.
Oh, I gotta say, ManyChat has saved me many a chat. Okay, let me tell you.
so what is
ManyChat's
that?
great, but you have to pay for it if you're going to use it more than once. So if you're going to use it more than 3 times, you max out.
Mine stopped working. I
Yeah.
only had it actually work for like one post,
Oh,
I
that's weird.
think. I
So I pay
Yeah.
for it. And ManyChat does the auto responses. You'll have seen these posts from so many artists or makers or influencers, or however you want to call people that you follow. Comment, we'll talk for a direct link to our podcast. So the what ManyChat does is you can set it up to auto respond. You can have a variety of auto responses, link in your inbox, information sent, all of these different responses so that it doesn't look as computerized, but it is.
It's not
Um,
a copy paste. It's not
not
just sent
it's
it,
not
sent it,
sent,
sent
sent,
it,
sent,
sent it,
sent,
sent
sent,
it.
sent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. You can do the variety, you don't have to, and then it sends, it sends the info in a message. So why is this good and why is this bad? It's great because otherwise I was sending messages manually to hundreds of people who wanted the information, and that was taking a lot of time. So pro, it sends the messages for you and saves you a lot of time. Pro, it's like really easy to set up, and especially if you're using it once. It's pretty easy to set up. Usually I would suggest, and Becca's made the suggestion to me, to set it up on your computer and not on your phone. Con is that anyone who has their settings set to messages from people that I don't follow can't come through, your message is not going to go through. Anyone who has message requests set up that, like, it goes first to a request inbox, they might not see your message at all.
Hmm.
So it's not foolproof, but it certainly saves time.
And you've had more like quote unquote conversions using that than you would be if you just did a simple, hey, my link's in my bio, and you put that
Oh
friction on the
yeah.
customer to see the post, take action, go to your bio, find the link, not get distracted with a text from somebody or whatever else, and then go to your website and then buy like it's about the
Yeah.
friction that you're
Oh yeah.
eliminating.
Oh yeah, you're taking out steps and you're making it easier for people because we lazy. And nobody wants that extra step of having to go to the link in bio. Oh, so this
Yeah.
saves that. Yeah, it's definitely easier for people. Um, but it doesn't always go through, so that's tricky too. And also, that the people that are going to follow your link in bio prompt really want it. Usually, I'll say. Um, So the ones that are going to follow the link in bio prompt in your, reel or caption or whatever it is, they're making the effort because it really interests them. But you're going to get more people who are kind of like, I don't know, let me learn more about that. I don't have to do anything except comment on this, which takes me a second.
Hmm.
Um, and so you're going to get more of the like maybes to sign up or even just to learn more. And then you can hook them with your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh time of marketing, you know.
Yeah. How many times have you gone back to folks that have engaged with ManyChat and showed interest? Do you go back and try
I
to
do.
convert them,
I do.
quote unquote, and
Usually the
like
day before
follow
the
up?
workshop. Yeah, usually the day before the workshop, I follow up with anyone who's commented that they, commented whatever the word was. I'll send a message to each of those people, and if I see that the message wasn't like went to the message requests because you can see, it'll say message request sent. Then I'll comment on the post again in response to their comment and be like, "Hey, the info went to your message request. Workshop is tomorrow. Hope you'll join." Something like that.
How do you find who showed interest? Do you flag them somehow, or do you go manually from the post that you marketed the
Correct.
workshop? You have the link the prompt in the six posts that you had marketing it, and you've got to go find those people
I do.
from the
I
six posts
I
and
go to the
follow
post
up.
and I go to the comments and then I sometimes if I really feel like I have so much free time, I'll cross-reference their names to the names of the people who signed up so that I'm not messaging people who already signed up.
Cool.
Um, yeah, but
A lot of work.
usually I'll just follow up and say, hey, just reminding you this workshop's tomorrow. I'd love to have you there. And then if somebody did sign up, they'll be like, already signed up, and it's not a big deal.
Hmm.
But I don't like, I don't think that, I don't know that I would like to receive a message from someone that I paid for something of theirs, for them to be like, don't forget to sign up. And I'm like,
Right.
what do you mean, bitch? I already signed up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So,
And
sometimes,
this is classic marketing funnel stuff. Like if you want
yeah,
success with people paying money to show up,
yeah.
you have to put
Chase
that
them.
effort in
Yeah.
on your side, besides just, well, I'm coming with the information, they should want to learn the information. But like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
don't
And
put in that effort behind the scenes to get butts and seats and get people to pay money,
yeah,
then
then you're not going to
you're,
get butts and seats.
yeah,
And if your goal is to offer quality learning to one person, then that's okay that you don't get butts and seats. But if your goal is to get butts and seats, then yeah, you got to put that work in. And even when you put the work in, it doesn't mean that you're going to get butts and seats, but it doesn't mean that you failed because they might not sign up for that one, but they know that you're offering something and they might sign up for the next one. It's
hmm
not nothing, no, none of it goes to waste. None of the effort that you put into marketing goes to waste. It's all valuable in some way or another. You just might not see it right now.
yeah. Because Becca, you've had some good reels and catchy things to get butts and seats for marketing your workshops. Like, have you felt more like success with it after doing those reels? And then Zipporah's like, we just got like 20 signups.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like okay, not to brag, but I was
Brag.
I was Sephora's first like marketing uh experiment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Before that point, I wasn't requesting artists that I worked with for virtual workshops to advertise. And then Becca proved this point of, if everybody puts that effort into marketing, everybody succeeds.
Yeah,
Um,
like we had a conversation. I remember where the call was actually. Where I was when we had the conversation. Uh I was trying to get food. Um But we had a conversation basically saying, like, hey, how many people do you want in the workshop?
yeah.
And how many people is our like La La Land goal?
Yep.
And our La La Land goal was 100 people. And I was like, yeah, fucking yeah, I can do that. And I did it.
You did.
And for me, the best marketing, I usually did two in the first, like 2 weeks beforehand. I would do two that week. And then I would do pretty much one every day of the week leading up to the.
Wow. Were you doing any other posts besides that or just strictly
No, I
workshop?
was,
Just focusing
I
on
was pretty
workshop
much,
stuff.
yeah, I would save all the other stuff to the back burner.
Yeah.
And all of my reels were like less than 15 seconds. Um,
Did you pay for marketing?
I did. I would pay like $20 for marketing. Um, because I'd always get it returned,
Yeah.
you know? Like it would always return back to me. But not all of them would hit, obviously. But yeah, I mean like I think the biggest thing for me was like you don't necessarily need music or like words, but you do need text that people can read
Yeah.
quickly, efficiently, and just like have all the information there. So like I'd always say affordable, $40, this date, this time,
hmm
and I think that's it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I also think it's valuable if you can to make posts collaborative. I mean, my platform
Oh yeah.
on social media, it began with just me teaching stuff on wheel throwing. And then it built to, me advertising for some of my own wheel throwing classes, still with teaching videos. And then once I started with advertising for these workshops and having the artists advertise as well, I was like, you know what I love about it? The workshops began with artists that had somewhat of a social media following because while it doesn't mean much, it does mean something in terms of credibility and ability to reach people and hopefully get butts and seats. But as time went on, now I don't limit myself to only reaching out to artists that have a large Instagram following because I think that there's more people to share, skills than just the people who have been successful on social media as well. And so I love that now, while if you come to my profile, it might just look like a whole bunch of advertising. It's also giving people a platform to share their work maybe gain more followers who love their work, even if they don't take a workshop. And that's just kind of like adding to this circle of sharing, of learning, of education, giving in, giving, sharing, it's like all within the theme. So I feel like collaborative posts are really both lovely in their, ability to share space and, have more eyeballs on people's work. And then also like practically those more eyeballs, hopefully help get butts in seats as well.
Also, there's places specifically for potters, like when Deanna did her workshop, I posted, like, we talked about how to do the reels and stuff, and I want to say her goal was like 50, but I can't remember. But I posted in Clay Buddies like the night before and like scooted her right past her goal. Just through
Yeah.
like a simple post like, "Oh my God, this jewelry class is going to be freaking amazing."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
It's
think that
that
helped as well that it was you doing it and not Deanna doing it on Clay
Yeah.
Buddies?
It
probably
definitely has to be a friend that doesn't look super suspicious.
it's not self-promoting is hard. Listen, advertising and marketing is hard.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. You're putting yourself out there, trying to sell yourself, and sell your skill.
Yeah, and then the
Um,
butts and seats reflect how well you did and how of valuable your thing that you're teaching is, and like, do people care enough about this thing or about me? And it's like a reflection of that. So
yeah, we take it personally. We take our successes and our failures very personally. But I think that because we do that, we're so scared to fail because we know how it's going to feel. Nobody likes to feel like they're failing. And that stops people from doing it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me that feels that way. I don't think so.
well, yeah, and nobody wants to like have to cancel it, you know? You don't want to
Mm.
have to cancel, and then you're like
I've
publicly
had to
saying,
cancel
"I
workshops.
canceled this workshop. I
Yeah,
had to cancel my one of my first soda ones because I planned it during a freaking week. I planned it like Wednesday through Friday because I was off Wednesday for Juneteenth. I'm
yeah.
like, nobody's available on a freaking Wednesday in the middle of the week,
Yeah, I've had to
like
cancel
3 weeks
workshops.
away.
I've
Like,
had artists that have minimum attendance. You can set for yourself if you're trying to do a workshop, either virtually or in person, calculate what your minimum is that you want to be making and decide if and when it's worth it. My minimum doesn't exist, but every artist has a minimum that they want. And I've had to cancel workshops because of that minimum not being met. And sometimes, yes, it's a reflection on the advertising. Sometimes it's just a bad time of year. Sometimes it's a
Yeah.
recession. Sometimes people, I don't know. There's so many factors, but I think that it's important that if this is going to be your first time ever teaching a class at your local studio or your first time ever teaching a virtual workshop, I think just setting your expectation really, really low, and just saying this is a learning experience. I'm gonna walk away with having gained something from
mm-hmm,
teaching this, and one person, two people, they're gonna have
mm-hmm.
walked away having learned something, and that's really, really valuable because we all fail in order to find our success. So,
And I think you've shared with me that even some of the smallest workshops you've had, you felt the most fulfilled because
oh
it's
yeah.
very intimate. You get that back and forth. There's that comfortability. You
Mm-hmm.
may have been on the fence about canceling or, hey,
Yeah, yeah,
I want to
yeah,
host this. And then they say, no, let's go ahead.
yeah.
And then it turns out to be a great experience.
Oh yeah. As long as an artist, doesn't have a minimum, I'm gonna be at a workshop. I maybe am not great in that, like valuing my time because I just want my goals. Let me share for a second what my goals for virtual workshops are. And everyone that's going to teach a workshop or be in person teaching is going to have a different goal and their own set of goals. But mine are to offer accessible and affordable learning to anyone, anywhere, at any skill level. So that means that if someone has always wanted to learn from Becca Otis about how she throws efficiently, but they live in another country and they, didn't know that she offers one-on-one consultations, then this was an opportunity to make learning accessible for that person who lives in another country. You know, and affordability is really important to me too, even though nowadays it seems like affordability, I don't even know what that means nowadays. Like, I don't think I don't think anybody's spending any money. But I feel like with those goals, they can be met, offering accessible and affordable learning, they can be met with just one student. But if somebody has other goals, which of course people will,
Yeah, it's
uh,
like I want to be paid $60 an hour for my
yeah,
time. Like if it's
exactly.
that specific,
Then
then
you
you
know,
need to have
I
a certain
need
amount of
X amount of
people there.
students. And you're gonna, you know, find a way to get that X amount of students. And you know what? Sometimes if I'm desperate, I'll offer discounts. I'll message people privately if they showed interest, offer them a discount. I'm like, I really got to get more seats at this workshop. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I love offering discounts. I offer them all the time. If you're on my email list, I send discounts. Like every third email has discounts to workshops because I'm like, come learn. I just want people to learn.
Hmm.
Um, so I think like, you know, really, really being clear in what your goals are is going to help you figure out how to meet those goals in an efficient and successful way.
I love getting there's a comedy club local to us that give out free tickets. And you know it they're giving them out because they need butts and seats, right?
Yeah.
So they give out these up to four tickets. You just got to put a reservation in. They actually call you the day of the event to say, "Hey, we're just letting you know, make sure you're showing up," because they want to make sure you don't flake out. If they
And
actually talk to you on the phone, they're more likely to get the commitment
yeah,
because anybody could just sign up for something. There's no risk. And then they have the minimum. You got to buy a drink or two drinks or
drink, two
whatever.
drinks.
So
Yeah,
like, hey, they can make the money on that. So like,
exactly.
yeah, let's get you here.
You do what you got to do. And especially if it's your first time or your second time and you're learning something every time you do it, you're learning something. So even if you are saying to somebody like, hey, come to my workshop that's at this in this studio, um, you know, for free, you're going to learn something from that. You're going to gain something from that.
Hmm.
It'll be good to have more feedback, you know, more people around.
Can we take a little maker of the moment break?
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. So Becca, are you sitting this one out or did you find someone?
No, I already told you.
Okay, so we're doing maker of the moment, which for anybody that's not familiar, it is highlighting someone that we would like to call attention to that we think deserve more eyeballs on their stuff.
Hmm.
We highlight them on Instagram specifically through our stories. So as we're recording it is when we share it. So it's a little bit delayed from when we actually get this live to everybody. But look in our Instagram highlights and you'll see Maker of the Moment. That's where you'll find everybody that we've highlighted historically. And we've been asking people that we've been inviting on for interviews and just chatting who their Maker of the Moment is. And Tzipporah has one for today. And
I
then we will
do.
share ours as well.
Okay, so my maker of the moment is Feldy Studios, at Feldy Studios.
That
Feldy
Feldy
lives
with a D or a T?
Feldi Studios. Feldy lives in Boulder, Colorado, and she has been leaning into making really cute Judaica. So for anyone who's not doesn't know, I don't usually lead with this, but hello, I'm Tzipporah and I'm Jewish. I'm an Orthodox Jew, and Judaica is kind of things that we use traditionally for holidays or in our home. Shabbat every week, we light candles. So
It's more than just a menorah.
it's more than just a menorah. Yeah, it is more than just a menorah is one of them.
Hmm.
But Feldy's really been like taking this amazing corner of the market and making super aesthetic, super girly, um, also not girly,
I was
but
gonna say I wouldn't say it was specifically girly, but
well, I think a lot of it is
I
like in
mean
her,
it is feminine and
it's pretty feminine, but I think that it's like it's really just cute and fun. Products like Shabbat candle holders and Kiddush cups, which is, you know, for the Shabbat meal, we make a blessing on wine or grape juice, and so she's making things like that. Mezuzot, for anyone who's, I mean, I would assume most people are not familiar, but I guess I shouldn't make assumptions. Just like random, these things that we have in our day-to-day lives as Jewish people, or just holiday to holiday. So she's making just really cool, colorful, fun, unique things. And I love it for her. I love it for the Jewish market. If you ever want to buy a Jewish friend a gift, this is a great idea. Really, any of her products. And a lot of the stuff that she's making kind of is multi-purpose. So, like the goblets, the Kiddush cups, like if anybody likes to drink wine, you can drink it out of these. It doesn't need to be for Jewish purposes. The menorah, I think, just like as a candelabra. There's smaller ones like that look like vases. So love what she's doing.
I
And
remember seeing her. I followed her for a little bit, and I remember seeing her reviewing
menorahs.
menorahs, I think. It was funny.
You know what? Okay, so if anybody goes to her account, you'll see. But so Feldy had done like a few of these review videos of of menorahs that are for sale in like big box stores. I don't remember what it was, maybe Nordstrom or something like that.
There's some
Uh,
anthropology ones in here that I
yeah,
see.
and like Judaica, like hasn't in a lot of ways hasn't moved with the times. Like there's a lot of just very traditional things. And so for people who love traditional things, it's amazing. And then for people who want something a little more current, out of the box, colorful, unique, handmade, of course, this is that.
Is there a balance of making sure it observes the tradition and doesn't try to like hide itself to not look like what it actually is? Because if you were to see the menorah on a shelf without candles, you wouldn't necessarily know that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't think that makes any difference whatsoever.
Okay.
Like,
It's not like disrespectful
no, 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 no,
to make
no.
it look like it's okay.
No, because like you'll have kids' menorahs that look like a train, with like spots for the like it's not
Hmm.
relevant. It's just that it holds the candles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very modern. There's some like mid-century looking to some of them as well.
Hmm.
Got some cool colors. I mean, it's really good slip casting as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of work that went into these things and they're really beautiful. So
She said there was like a fidget stone or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Becca
yeah.
got a
You can
fidget
see it.
stone.
Yeah.
I got a fidget stone for at NCECA, and I was really excited about it.
You can see it on her grid. It's like the third row down in the middle.
Yeah.
Keychain charm cutie thingy. Currently
I know.
accepting name suggestions for this lil squiggle fidget keychain charm cutie thingy.
It is very cute.
I want to put it on my keychain, but I also don't know. It's a little big.
Mm,
Um, but
it's fun to
yeah,
hold.
It's pretty
but it
cool.
is fun to hold for sure.
So
Those
that's
cups are so cool, like the wine goblet things.
Right? Aren't they gorgeous? So
They're
I
so
saw them
pretty.
at the cup show at NCECA and I squealed. Not out loud in my brain. I did.
Is there a difference between the ones that look more like a goblet with an elevated foot versus ones that are more simple and more close to the table? Or is that
No,
just preference?
just aesthetic. Yeah, just preference.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so that's Feldy Studios, Feldi Studios on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I met her
Yep.
at NCECA, and
She's
I
great.
mistakenly thought the guy that was there with her that she introduced me to was her partner, but it was not. And I feel like I didn't recover after that, but
Ah, that's funny.
uh,
You never
but
know. People do come with their partners, so you just never
well,
know.
yeah, she introduced me to somebody. Well, first I was trying to piece together what repeating his name back, but I couldn't say it or something. I mean, it was a lot. It was at the pop up, so it was like kind of loud in there. But and then
Oh,
I was like, "Oh, is
oh,
this
I
your
know who
partner?" And she's
I
like,
know who she
"No, this is
introduced
my
you to.
friend." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Wait, I know who she introduced you to. Wait, I'll tell you. Was it? I don't know. Are we allowed to do this on live? I
If
mean,
if you want, I mean, it was a yeah,
yeah. Well, anyway, never mind. Yeah.
but yeah, it's fine.
So who's your maker of the moment, Ryan?
All right, my maker of the moment is John Steen. He is the education director over at Queen City Clay. His Instagram is J Steen Pottery. So it's JSTIN Pottery on
Mm,
Instagram.
no, sorry.
For people that aren't familiar with who my makers of the moment are historically, you won't be surprised that this gentleman does atmospheric fired work.
No.
No
Can
way.
I insert here that it's JSTEIN?
STEI. Is that not what I said?
I
Oh.
think you said STIN.
Oh, JSTEIN.
Pottery.
Pottery.
Yeah.
John Steen. Yeah, so he does a lot of atmospheric pots.
Beautiful work.
I feel like I've
Yeah.
known about him. He went to NKU, Northern Kentucky University, where I went. He graduated a few years before I did, but I kind of knew about him from there, and then he's been around Cincinnati since probably 2015 or so. I think he left for a bit and was out
Mm,
in some other part of the country. I think he was in New York or something, but he's been at Queen City Clay. He's the education director there. Does a lot of teaching. He's a good teacher. He actually did your virtual
yep.
workshop
Yep. And I have an upcoming
recently.
workshop with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He is exceptionally talented for anybody. He was part of my virtual summit back in February, and he did throwing large.
Yeah, so there's a
And
lot of
that was
sectional
awesome.
forms. He does a lot of big
Yeah.
pots. He does.
Yeah, and so we have a workshop in May where he's doing lids and teapots. So he's going to demonstrate
Ooh,
a
that'll be
bunch of
good.
different lid types and how to make a teapot. So
Yeah,
that's,
he makes a ton of. They're just funky pots, you know. Like it's got like a traditional aesthetic to it, and he's kind of leaned into the funkiness on some of them. He puts a
yeah.
lot of like bands around it, and then he
Mhm.
adds like lately he's been adding little like chickens and
Yeah,
fish
figurines.
and
Yeah.
figurines on top of them. Like
Yeah.
on the lid, the little lid handle is a little chicken or something, you know?
Yeah. Also, like along the little ridges that he makes, he'll sometimes put
Hmm. He's
figurines,
made some
animals.
like wild candelabras
His partner is
and
also a sculptor. I
yeah,
don't,
Sarah does sculpture. Um, yeah, he's a cool dude. Got some great pots. I love, you know, he does a lot of soda, does a lot of wood. Obviously, I love that.
yeah. Love.
And yeah, he's got great stuff. So he's been working away at it for quite a few years, and he always finds time to crank out pots, which I definitely respect because he could totally lean into just strictly teaching, but he still finds a way to balance
Yeah.
making a lot of work as well and having, you know,
And he shares about it on social media too. He's sharing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, join that workshop.
Mm-hmm.
When is that? That's in May coming up.
Yeah, it's in May. I think
Okay,
it's
so
May
it'll be
14th.
out there by the time this is public, so
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to sign up for that. But cool dude, cool stuff.
Yeah.
Check his work out.
And local to you.
Yep, he's in Cincinnati, really close.
Cool,
So
cool,
that
cool, cool,
is
cool.
my maker of the moment for today.
Becca, are you here?
I'm here. Okay, so if you didn't know, we have a theme.
Oh, well, actually, we don't know for sure.
God damn it.
Who's your
Okay.
person?
Could be a
Fine.
theme. Could be a theme. I'm Jewish and Feldy's Jewish.
Okay, we might have a theme. We don't know
Who's
if
your,
John's Jewish. I
who's
thought you
your,
said he was.
I'm pretty sure I said he wasn't, but I'm not
and
positive.
I said, I think Steen is a Jewish name. So, but okay. Anyway, it could be. He'll have to
That
confirm.
makes sense. We don't know if John is Jewish,
I
but
don't know. I don't talk to John about that, so I don't really know. But
But
yeah.
who's your maker of the moment?
because I thought we had a theme, I chose one of my friends' bands. It's not a Potter because I was not prepared. And um it's a Jewish band and it's called Mostly Kosher and they're great. And
What kind of
and
music do they have?
Mostly Kosher, the Los Angeles klezmer rock band.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Did I say that right? Klezmer?
Klezmer, you did, yeah.
Klezmer
Yeah,
rock
yeah,
band?
yeah. It's like if I was a rich man
Da 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 da.
with rock. Okay, it's fucking amazing, and my friend Leov is the main guy in it, and like it's a really eclectic band. They have like it's very pro all the things, and it's not like I don't know if it's necessarily religious or not, but it's called Motion Kosher, and obviously they're Jewish, and
That's
they
fun.
also um go to Disneyland every year at Christmas time, and they're a band at Disneyland every year, and they're freaking great. Okay, they're like it's just like super awesome. Um, and Liav is the like lead singer, and he's really awesome. And he like majored in music when he was in college, and he's just like super freaking talented.
Wow.
And so it's not like I said, not pottery, but he has bought some of my pottery. He
Ooh, love that.
he does support the potters. And
Nice.
so so yeah, he's just if you want a fun, weird band to listen to, you should definitely go listen to them because they're really great.
Love. I'm
Mostly
gonna have to look
kosher.
into them.
I was looking at one of their most recent posts, and it looks like he's holding a giant pot, like a
He's
giant
holding a
ceramic pot.
drum,
I figured it was a drum, but it looks like a giant ceramic pot.
but we'll put that in there just in case. Or maybe I should find a video.
That would be a pretty heavy pot if it was, and then maybe with a
Not
with
a potter, but a maker.
yeah,
Not a potter, but a maker. Because, well, I thought we
artist. Just say artist. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I
Maker,
thought we
artist,
had a
potter,
theme.
ceramic art, ceramicist, all the things. Sweet. All right. So that was fun. I have back to a different question. Let's see. Where do I want to go? We had another listener question that I think it's more for in person, but I feel like there could be adaptability to all of us here.
well, it's just workshops. Workshops in
Yeah,
general.
workshops. So this is from Annie Margie Ceramics.
Oh, Annie Margie was my pot swap a few years
Was
ago.
it?
She sent me a beautiful mug, a cap, some chocolates,
Oh my gosh,
um,
this is
maybe
perfect
also
timing.
a spoon rest. Yeah,
I'm gonna look her up on Instagram so that
yeah.
I know who we're talking about. She's in Iowa. Okay, Annie writes, I know you've had episodes about teaching online workshops, and Becca's talked about going other places to teach, but have you ever done an episode about hosting workshops in your own studio?
Hmm.
I know it's something the Beals, J.H. Pottery works, and even Danny Meisinger do. I'm both an art teacher and potter of over 8 years, and I have a larger home studio now, so I'd like to start teaching my own classes.
Mm.
I'm looking for advice on getting started. What classes work well for others, marketing, how much to charge, and just all the things. I'm planning to start, this is in parentheses, I'm planning to start hosting hand building classes and private throwing lessons first until I know there's an interest before I invest in more wheels. Thanks. Love your podcast.
Oh, that's
So,
sweet. She's very sweet.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that she's on the right track, Annie. I think you're on the right track to the starting, the hand building, the small wheel throwing classes for beginners. That's how you're going to gauge interest. Because as you advertise that and people start joining your classes, you'll hear people saying, "Oh, this is awesome that you're doing that. Will you teach something for somebody who's a little bit more than a beginner? Will you teach,
Hmm.
X, Y, and Z?" And that's how you'll, learn and gauge interest, I
Yeah,
think.
I suspect there's also I'm gonna say a wider range of options for people that when it's a hand building, it feels like less, I'm gonna say less commitment, but it feels
Mm-hmm.
more doable because
Yeah.
I suspect the wheel can be intimidating to people. Like, oh, I don't, I'm
Yeah,
not
to
to
people
that
who have
point.
never touched clay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you say, hey, come for a 2.5 hour workshop or 2 hour workshop or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're gonna hand build this thing.
Well, I'll tell you what I think is always successful. That is a date night. a clay date, you know? I think that those, if you have two wheels or even one wheel that they take turns on, then marketing to local couples, that's people who've never touched clay before. That's a really,
Mm,
easy way to have people come over, and it's not a lot of people, and you don't need to invest in a lot more wheels. And also remember that when you start having more wheels, you have more cleanup. So
yeah.
much cleanup.
I made
So,
that mistake. When I started teaching date nights at Baker Hunt, I would clean up after them at the
oh
end, and there
God.
would be 6 or 8 of them, and I was spending like 30 minutes cleaning up after them
Yes.
or 45 minutes, and then they were like, "You need to build that in. You need to have them do that." I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
exactly.
yeah, yeah."
So very important to take that into consideration, or build it in, like you said, have them clean up. But people that are coming on a date night, they don't want to clean up. They want to
That's what I
throw
thought. I was
and
like, I just want them to be able to
yeah, but
snack on the refreshments and drink
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
wine and beer and just
And
hang
then you
out
got to
and
do
be
the
able to
two
leave.
the two people because you can clean two wheels pretty efficiently.
Yeah. We added 30 minutes to the classes to make it more doable with cleanup
Yeah.
time. But
Okay, that's good. But yeah, as a starting point, I think those are all great starting points. Hand building, offering some beginner classes to one-on-ones or one-on-twos and date nights and, bring a friends and those are great ways to start.
Hey everybody, I am interrupting to talk to you about L&L because they're so amazing. And you know what's really cool about the L&L is that it's built so that you can fix it. You don't have to have any tech background, you don't have to have anything like that. You can fix it even if you're a beginner. You can look up on their website and find everything that you need to change out your elements, change out your thermocouple, change out your relays. It's super easy, especially because they have that drop down panel. I don't know if you've ever changed out anything in an L&L kiln, but it actually opens from the top instead of the side so that you can just kind of like look down instead of crouching down and sitting on the floor of your dirty studio, because we all know we have dirty studios. And it's great. You don't have to use crimps or anything like that to fix your kiln. It's fantastic. You just kind of twist the wire around the connector and it's great. Especially with the Genesis controller, if you're a beginner potter, you can just use the set, uh, you know, programs that they have, or if you're a super experienced one, you can put one in yourself. And so, yeah, I mean, who doesn't love that about having a kiln? If you would like to look up all the L&L stuff, they are at hotkilns.com. Hotkilns.com. You can look up anything you need from there and see how easy it is. All right, back to the show.
What else was she asking about?
what classes work well for others, marketing, how
Mm,
much to charge.
yeah. The charging is probably location based, I would say.
Yeah. Because like a date night, 2 wheels, it's like how much would people pay to be on a date night? It depends on who it is. If it's
Yeah.
a family that has 4 kids, like how much would you all spend to go on a date night? Would you be willing to spend, you know,
Chaim and I love experiences. We love experiences. So I'll spend money on experiences, but that'll be like for a couple, 200 or under. At a max, 200 for an experience for me. Right
as a
now,
couple,
as a
200 total?
couple.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a lot too, but I'm like,
Well, also
it
remember that I
feels
grew up in
good,
New York and
you
was
know?
living in New Jersey, where prices for everything was high, really high. You
Hmm.
couldn't do things for less than that. Like, I mean, you could. That's not true. You absolutely could. And that is high. But like if I want to go to a comedy show or a candlelit concert, let's say,
Hmm.
or like the tickets for those could be high. So I'm deciding, am I spending
Plus you got dinner, plus you got
yeah, you
babysitter,
get
plus you
exactly.
got
Oh, and for
drinks or
me, babysitter cost is included in that 200. Am I going in? I don't want to be spending more than 200 altogether on us going out. And so, but then again, like I said, that was in New Jersey. So, or in
but
New
some
York.
people would be happily to give up 200 to be like, I just need time away, so I'm
Yeah,
willing to
yeah,
pay whatever.
yeah, yeah. And then some people are like 200 bucks for a date night out, I don't know, that sounds like an awful lot of money. And So I guess it depends. You said that Annie's in Iowa?
Iowa, Remsen, Iowa.
Yeah, so I guess it really just
I don't
depends
know
on
where that is.
where a person is because, I don't know what the prices are in
It
Iowa.
looks pretty remote. It kind of looks like a Harper, Kansas situation.
So what would
Like
you
Isaac Shoe, a Harper, Kansas situation.
So Ryan, what were you charging for your play dates at your home? Or did you do them at your home?
No, I never did. So for people that aren't aware, I've been stewing on this idea of cocktails and clay. Somebody's gonna steal that name. I shouldn't have said it. Cocktails and clay. We're I'll,
Bleep, bleep it out.
it's fine. Um, we're gonna host couple wheels on the patio, have the string lights up, have the
Mhm.
tiki bar open. Rachel's gonna like do here's our menu of what we can serve you, and I can teach the date night. So
So cute.
I I was planning to do that, and I was just kind of basing it on what Baker Hunt charged for their date nights, and I
Which
want to say
was,
it was at least $90 a person.
yeah. So I think
And I was like, that seems like a lot, but I mean, people were paying. I mean, we
yeah.
would have it at that price for 6 seats, 8 seats. I think we'd have 8 seats in a date night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that somehow they made it work. I mean,
But
they had to
what
pay for the facilities and the teacher and everything like that. So I would take on all those expenses myself and clean up and the bar and all that. They would they did have like refreshments and stuff during COVID because it was more
that was what I was
intimate. I
thinking.
think it was 4 people. But
And
once
then
they got to a
what
point,
did
they
they walk
stopped
away with?
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they walked away with a piece, 2 pieces that they picked up 2 weeks later. So 2 pieces per person,
Yeah.
and
So
they didn't even have refreshments. I think the more recent ones, and it was strictly
mm,
like you get this time and you get the piece
hmm
at the end.
And yeah, so at in New Jersey, much different, very different you know, cost of everything there. In central New Jersey. Um, I was charging for a date night 190 for a couple. And they threw four and went home with three.
Okay, that sounds
So
pretty comparable though. 90
yeah.
bucks a person,
Yeah. Like I
180.
feel like
Yeah,
for your area that was probably expensive.
yeah, but people were willing to pay.
People
So
were willing to pay. People love experiences.
honestly, I'm like, this would be perfect to just send it. I've been sending these Tiki Tuesday newsletter things every month for the last
Yeah,
year and a half. People want like they would come to the Tiki bar as well as the experience.
100%. It's double experience.
Like, I need to do it. It was scheduling issues for me. I was like, do
When?
I want to dedicate a Friday to get $190? I mean, I would do it more for the experience than the money, but I'm like, I don't know that I want to do that. But
Yeah.
and then the marketing side is what held me back too, because I'm like, how much am I gonna have to market to fill these seats? But it's only 2 seats. But I'm like,
Yeah.
do I feel bad about the price? Like, are people gonna
Well,
balk at $200? I don't know.
do you know if there are local people to you that listen to the podcast?
Um, yeah, yeah. There's local people. I mean,
All right, so friends,
They're probably potters, but
that's fine. Maybe they have friends, maybe they know people,
that's true. I mean,
put
there
your
are
feelers
friends because
out.
I've mentioned it to friends that aren't
Yeah.
potters, but I'm also feel bad because I'm like, they know me, they want to throw. They're like, I've always wanted to throw. And then I would feel bad charging $190. They'd be like, "What?" But
I don't know that
I
you
don't
should
know.
feel bad for it. I think it's
I
your
don't know.
job.
Well, I think they would see it as like a fun night out to, hey, I get some time to throw. It wouldn't feel so transactional with like a business thing.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, "Oh, I always wanted to come over and try that. They think they could
Yeah.
just like stop in and just throw.
Yeah.
Rather than like I'm curating an experience, like I'm setting aside time to make this a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
certain
yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
we'll do that at some point. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
make it on my yearly goals at some point and say, all right, I'm going to host 2 of these for
Yeah.
the year, and that's it.
Two's not a hard number to meet for a 12-month period.
So, so yeah, something like that. Date night, perfect option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fri
Cost,
we did them Friday nights, six
yeah.
o'clock, 6:30, 2 hours. I feel like you push more like 2.5. You're pushing a little
Yeah.
far if you know.
I would say
Give
that
people time to go
date
to
nights,
dinner or
yeah.
whatever before or after, and
Do you think that date nights are only, I think every night of the week. Like I think catering it to the person. If you're doing this in your own home studio, like, and somebody wants to do a date night, you can say,
mm.
what night works well for you? I'm available every night of the week, you know?
What if you had a what if you had a little calendar appointment windows or
Yeah,
something like we do for the podcast
Calendly.
when people schedule interviews and stuff? Like if you just had book like times allotted for date nights and you leave it up to your customers to book them and you don't do the
Hmm.
work until they get booked, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you
And
cut
you
it
can have
off
like
3 days before or something like that.
yeah, or if you want to have the options for people, you can have, you know, a week and a half ahead. Like, so the week and a half that's in front of you is blocked off. You can't book it because you want to know a week and a half in advance, let's say. And
Mm.
then you just have open calendar, you know, unless you know you block out dates and all that, but and then people can just book it. I wonder if you can like hang up an ad in your coffee shop with a QR code that takes you straight to
The
the
booking.
booking, you know, to the calendar.
Hmm. Becca, did you do date nights and things like that in the studio that you were at, or did you strictly do weeks of classes?
I did. I did date nights, but it was only like two people. Like I would never do more than two people
Mm.
because I felt like it's not as fun to
Right.
do a date night with other people, you know?
I agree.
Well,
But
it makes it more financially beneficial for the teacher because you're teaching the same thing, but it can be stressful because you got to bounce around to each person that
Yeah, it's much
has
harder.
usually has no experience in what they're doing. So,
I agree.
y- yeah, and like I don't know. The I will say that the person that I think has the funnest date nights is Beal Pottery. Um, and that's because they do competitions and
Mm.
like one-handed hand building competitions and like one-handed wheel stuff.
For beginners?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
fun.
Yeah, and like somebody has to hold the knob of clay and then the other person has to pull the handle and
Oh my gosh.
the whole
That's
time
so
Melissa's
cute.
saying like dirty jokes. And yeah,
Are those bigger groups or are those strictly two people?
no, they're big groups. They're big groups. Like
Okay.
that's the only way I would do like groups is if it was like super competition heavy,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
really fun. And
Plus
they
it's
have
both of them, right?
pizza.
So it's Melissa and Eric that are both there during the workshop, during the
Right.
date night. Okay.
Yeah, and they're lucky because he does wheels, she does hand building, and then they switch halfway through.
Mm. That way,
So,
yeah. So it's if it's 12 people, it'll be six at this, six at that, and then the people switch.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's fun.
Is there a minimum that you would charge for something like that? For just a date, I mean, just a general date night.
I mean, I used to charge $90 for a couple, so $45 a person.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I think it's location based. I think that price is really important to gauge what people are willing to pay. And asking your friends and, you know, finding out
How
what
long
the
was that time period, Becca, for that price? Was that a couple hours?
Yeah, I think so. It depends on how drunk we got.
you too?
Oh, I got fucking wasted at a few date nights.
Not
Bro,
your
So
own date.
you paid for refresh or did they bring it? Was it BYOB or did you
yeah, it was
provide it?
BYOB. I mean, like, I didn't always. I was usually really, really good. There was this one date night that this guy came in with a fucking 18 pack of beer, and we all
Oh,
got fucking shamammered. And then we're like, you know what? We should go next door and eat food because we're all drunk and I don't want you to drive home drunk. And then
all together?
his, yeah, all together.
Extended date night.
Yeah. And then he hit on me while his wife was in the bathroom. And I was like, bruh, you're fucking married. Like,
Mm,
you're on a goddamn date night. Like, no.
that's an ick.
Jeez.
It was so gross.
That's not it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's not it.
I should
Ooh.
have probably walked home and let them eat food, but I also felt the responsibility of them like eating food.
You were hungry. You were Mama Bear hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what an experience. Annie, don't do that. But do a workshop. Do a date night. That's a
Yeah,
good idea.
I would suspect, man, once you start committing to getting a bunch of wheels, you're in it, you know. Those
Yeah.
things aren't cheap, so
No.
you're probably dropping, you know,
2000, yeah.
3 to 5 grand on wheels. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
depends
you
on the
could
wheel
probably
you're
get
getting,
some
but
reasonable ones, but when
um, an idea is to do like some tabletop wheels if you really wanted to have larger groups. They're a little more affordable and they take up less space and you can do some larger groups that way. But I suspect, yeah, starting with smaller groups is a good
and just
couple.
adding wheels as you grow. Like,
Yeah,
what's the worst thing? It's like, do you have 6 wheels? No, we have 2 wheels.
yeah,
And then you get a third or a fourth wheel. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
just slowly add as you're
And as you add, I
covering the
mean,
cost.
if your end goal is to have a running studio where you're hiring other teachers, then awesome, add. But also remember the physical toll that it's going to take on your body to teach 6 people, to teach 8 people, 12 people instead of 2 people. It's a
And
much,
cleanup and
yeah,
maintenance and
yeah, yeah.
space and like,
And monitoring all those pots,
yeah.
you know, finishing those pots, wrapping
I
them
sus
up.
I suspect there's a little more stress too of selling 6 spots to a class than selling 2 spots to a class. Like,
Yeah.
if you
Unless
don't
you're,
sell 2 spots, it's like, okay, I just don't teach it, you know?
yeah, yeah. Unless you
Or if
don't care.
somebody gets sick, they're like, sorry, we can't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Annie, hopefully that helped you out. And good luck. Maybe I don't remember when we got that question, but maybe she's already got something in motion.
Oh my God. She probably has something in motion. We're so late in responding to questions most of
Oh,
the
no.
time. We're the
When is that one
worst.
from?
I don't see any marketing for it, but oh, grand opening.
Oh,
This is happening. That was in September. It was for her Meet the Artist shop. Okay, that was for her like studio. She's got a nice little studio. It's like a shed building. Nice. Yeah, that'd be good for teaching. Looks like it's on her property, on the backside of her property. There's a shitload of corn in the background and windmills, so
mm.
it sounds comparable to a Harper, Kansas Isaac situation. Yeah, it's a little more challenging too, because I mean, in one aspect, you're like, hey, there's not a lot going on, so you're kind of one of the only shows in town,
Yeah.
so that's good. But the price point can be challenging. But if you're just trying to get some cash flow, offering something,
Or you
and
love teaching and you
and
just
she's
want to
already a
share that.
teacher, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably already have people showing interest.
Yeah. All right, I have a separate question. Your two workshop virtual work summits in now. Are there
Mm-hmm.
plans for a third this year? What have you learned from them historically? If people aren't
Mm.
familiar with what they are, like, what
Yeah.
are they?
So the virtual summit is like an extension of the virtual workshops. Goals are the same, but instead of it being one workshop for a, single ticket price, it's a number of workshops. So my first one was 5 workshops back to back on a Sunday in August, and the second one was 3 workshops back to back in February. I did the first one. It was a learning experience. I just did it. I remember
Just did
telling
it.
you.
We were talking about it, and I was like, I would
And,
plan this for next year, and
yeah,
I would
yeah. And I
get
was
it
like,
figured
no,
out.
I'm gonna do it in 3 months. I'm gonna do it actually,
I'm
yeah,
gonna do
tomorrow.
it.
I'm just gonna do it now. Which I did. And then I learned a lot and adjusted for the February one and made some changes and they were both incredible in their own way. Um, I think that there's a lot of value in offering a variety of things to people, not just one workshop at what I hope to be an affordable ticket price. And I think like if somebody's looking into hosting workshops or teaching things online or teaching things in studio, like it's the, an extension of diversifying one's qualifications or income. So it's like it's more than one thing instead of it just being one thing. So your hope is that you're appealing to more people. The first summit was 5 completely unrelated topics. So it was a 2-wheel throwing, a hand building, a business focused, and a surface decoration. And then
Yeah, it
the
was more like a conference where
yeah,
people
yeah,
bounce between the ones that they're interested in, but it was
exactly.
all in one ticket price. Yeah.
Right. And then the second one was much more focused. It was all wheel throwing. Wheel throwing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
All wheel.
throwing sectional with
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah. Throwing sectional with John Steen. Throwing functional kitchenware with Terry Erasmus. And what was
Linderman? Was Andrew
yeah,
Linderman in
Linderman.
the
Oh,
third one?
that's so good. Yeah. They were all amazing.
And Andrews was like
Andrew Linderman did
altering.
altering thrown pots. Yeah. And they were awesome. And I loved the niche, the way that it was a little bit more clear cut who's going to benefit from this. The ticket price was lower because it was 3 workshops and not 5. A little bit easier to commit to 3 back-to-back workshops. Had a lot more people, consistently there for all 3 of them.
And they were similar in format to your typical ones. It was still like a
Correct.
1.5 to 2 hour workshop.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't 1 hour
No.
for, yeah.
And so I think it's a cool idea. If you're like Annie was saying, I'm doing the hand building and I'm doing some beginner wheel throwing, throw in the clay dates and, some, more advanced surface decoration techniques, and you're offering more than one thing, at a time, and kind of reaching more people. So yeah, I'm definitely working on more summits to come.
Version
Thinking
3
about, yeah.
or
Uh,
3.0.
well,
Summit
no,
3.0.
well, I think it's going to be more like Summit 2.1 because I feel like 2.0 was like a lot of big changes from the original Summit. And then
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
if we're getting technical, which I clearly
yeah. Okay.
am,
Version 2.1. It's not quite
yeah,
big enough changes to be a 3.0 just
correct.
yet. Okay. Well, maybe it's per year. Maybe it's like 1.0 is like 2024 and then
Yeah,
2.0 is 2025 version 1. And you
yeah.
got the second version
Okay,
for the
good.
later half
I'll
of the
do
year.
that. We can do that. So yeah, there's going to be I'm working on another one for this year, maybe another 2. Trying.
Can it be
What?
2.7? 2.7.
You want to be 2.7?
No, no, no. Like the one that later this year should be 2.7.
Why?
I don't know. It's a funny number.
Is it?
I mean, it's just unexpected, you know?
Okay, yes. Sure. You heard it here first, folks. The one later this year is
I'm like, or it could
2.1.
be, I'm thinking like software versions where we number our things by the year and the month. So like 2503 means it's 2025, the third month of 2025. So it's like, so yours would be
Okay.
like 2502 for the February
So
summit.
yeah, and maybe the 2.7 is going to happen in July.
Yeah, 2507.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I am working on something else right now, which, we'll talk about it another time. So that's like taking a lot of brain space and
Because
uh
it's hard to get a commitment for. I mean, the benefit is that it's all on one date. So, is
mhm.
there enough interest in the topics covered to pay more? And are these people teaching something that they're not already teaching as a one-off workshop rather than just paying for just the one
All
workshop?
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the benefit of there's a benefit to having people, 3 artists advertising for a summit, um, plus me, obviously. So 4 people advertising as opposed to just one other person. There's hope that we're reaching more people and, also introducing people to new artists. Like you may have joined a summit for one artist that you followed for years and love, and then you learned about new artists that you didn't know you've never seen their work before. So I think there's something really cool to that.
And there's also the added aspect. You've got sponsors historically over
Yeah.
the years to help offset some of this as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, building relationships with companies, it's not like it's not easy necessarily, but it can pay off in more ways than just like monetarily. Obviously, having sponsors is amazing, but also being able to offer or use a product that you love. So let's say like you only use speedballs, mid-fire range of glazes since they came out. So every time you use it and you share about it, you're building that little bit of connection with that brand. Um, and then, you can reach out to, whoever the brand may be. Maybe you're using Diamond Core tools and you say like, hey guys, I'm going to be teaching a carving workshop. Any chance you would, sponsor a set of tools for one of the participants or some tools for my studio for studio use.
Hmm.
And you never know. I don't know. I do a lot of cold messaging and reaching out to people and putting myself out there, and it's exceptionally uncomfortable, but I do it anyway. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. So I feel like you never know if you just build a relationship by, having kind of some company like what's the word I'm looking for? Like you consistency and building that relationship,
Yeah, I mean,
loyalty.
most of those companies, it's really hard for them to track return on investment on something that specific.
Yeah,
But I think it's just a nature of we want to be supportive
that's
of
what it
the
is.
teaching within the ceramics community, the learning, we like what you're doing,
Yeah.
so we want to support you.
Yeah.
And that a lot of times it's hard. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. It's not so give us the results of how many people attended and how many
Yeah.
people bought from your link or whatever. I mean, some you can build some of that in there, but
Yeah. I've like shared, stats after with all the marketing and how many people it was reached and, how many links were clicked. Anywhere I can, I try to. Um,
mhm,
and most companies in our industry are very, very supportive. I mean, anyone who's ever gone to NCECA knows that. Like, people are so kind and
mhm.
so forthcoming, so willing to share. Um, so yeah, we're lucky because it's not in every industry.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and if
and
if
they'll
you
support
find
small fish too. Like you don't
Oh
have to
yeah.
be a big fish to catch like a Mako or Speedball or whoever.
Yeah.
You can just be doing something cool and they want to. I mean, it could start as small as like collaborating on a post because you're using their tool.
Yep.
Like a lot of companies are happy to take the quote unquote free advertising
Mm-hmm.
for something that you're willingly talking about, you know.
And using anyway and
Yeah.
loving. Becca, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say if you find somebody that's not nice and giving, run away. Run away.
Run, run, run.
Yeah.
I agree. There's enough good ones.
Yeah,
All right.
they don't have to be nice, but you don't have to work with them.
Anything else big that people want to know about Sipor Ceramics teaching? Um, Becca, any last questions you have? Are there
I
any
would like
big
to know
workshops you want to call out? I mean,
I,
we talked about a couple of them, but
I would like to know Sephora's favorite candy.
mm.
Ooh. Um, I don't love candy, so can we
Are
adjust
you
that
more
question?
sugar or chocolate?
It's always going to be chocolate and baked goods for me. Baked goods are going to be the winner every
Okay,
time.
favorite bakery item.
Mm.
Mm. I love, I love like a filled croissant, like a pistachio croissant.
Mm.
Ryan, why are you
I
cringing?
don't, I
Like
don't,
that was the
I
most
don't, I
disgusting.
don't really like anything like filled like that.
Ryan is so picky. and he doesn't seem like it, but he is.
I think it's the unknown. I don't know what I'm biting into. I want the proportions to
Have you
be
had
known up front so that when I bite into it, I get like an equal distribution. I don't want to bite into something and get like too much of the filling.
Okay.
And
He
not
doesn't like pickles.
that has nothing to do with what I just
Okay,
said.
pickles
but-
are not baked goods. It's a little bit of a different
No,
field we're
but
talking
he's
about.
so picky. Like,
That's not picky.
Pickles
There's a
is
lot of
not
people that don't
picky.
like pickles.
Pickles is not it. Becca, pick something else.
That's like
Pickles
that's
is
like
not-
mustard. Like
he
people don't
doesn't
like pickles, they don't like
cheese.
mustard.
He doesn't like cheese.
I do like
Oh,
cheese. I just don't like just eating slices of cheese.
okay. All right. All right, guys. Settle down, children. Listen, everybody's allowed to like things that they like and not like things that they don't like, okay? I'm just going to be very clear here. We all have our tastes. I love cheese and pickles, and I don't like candy. So I think that the filled proportions, first of all, I don't know if you've had good, like, filled things that you're nervous about this.
Well, I don't know. I just rather have a basic croissant. Or give me like a little drizzle on top of the croissant. I don't
Okay.
need the things the
So
filling inside
I
it.
got you. Okay.
Okay,
So-
but what about a filled donut? Like, how could you not
I
love a
don't
filled
eat filled
donut?
donuts.
Oh, I love all I will not turn away from a baked good. I don't think I've ever experienced self-control around baked goods. Not once.
Same.
Love them so much.
I think my favorite is probably and this is probably gonna be plain, but I just like I mean, if it's not a specialty time of month, but I like the chocolate cake donut. Chocolate glazed cake donut. That's my favorite.
From like
Like a
like
bakery, like up the street.
yum. That's not basic. That's yum. Baked goods are just good. They're good stuff. I've never met a
They
person who was
they
like, I
have
don't
like
like
a
any.
they had like a pumpkin cake donut during the fall. That was
Ooh,
pretty good.
like muffins. Yum.
I
Cookies.
like a muffin.
Yeah.
I don't like cupcakes with too much icing though. That's the
No,
whole
I do not
proportion
like
thing.
icing.
Oh
Cut
my God, I fucking love icing.
Limit
Oh,
the icing, like just cover the top so I
not my
can't
taste.
see the top of the thing, but don't like pile up a half an inch of icing. That's too much.
If
Ah,
it's
that's
like
the best part.
a cream cheese frosting with a cupcake, yum. But if it's gonna be like sugary icing, it's not it for me.
Okay, here's mine. Here's mine. I have two because I can't decide.
Okay.
I love a cannoli.
Oh, love.
Fucking
That's
love a
different.
cannoli.
I'll eat a cannoli
Why? Because you know exactly.
because I know exactly. I can
You
see through it.
do.
I can see the
You
amount that
can.
I'm biting. It's not
I
closed. If
see.
it was closed, I would be a little bit less.
Okay.
I see.
Love a cannoli, and I love, 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 love. Those donuts that have the creme the sugar hard sugar on top that are supposed to be like the creme brulee. It's like the creme brulee top.
Ooh.
Have you ever had one of those?
No, I don't. Is there anything in the donut? Is there like a cream in the donut
Yeah,
too?
it's filled with a cream, and then it's a donut, and then they dip it into hard sugar so like it cracks when you bite
Ooh,
it. It's so fucking good.
that sounds
Is it
yummy.
fully closed on the bottom or does it still have a hole?
Yeah.
No,
If
it's fully closed. It's like a
if,
filled donut.
if it's filled, it's got to be closed. Yeah.
Oh, so it's kind of like you make it in like a little mini pie, sort
Right, a
of.
custard, like a custard filled donut.
No, it's a
Yum.
custard filled donut, and then they dip it upside down into hard
Hmm.
sugar.
Yum. That sounds delish.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
I also love a croissant.
Ugh. I'm a sucker for like flaky pastries
Yeah,
that
anything with
have like
butter.
savory, sweet, I don't care. Like put all the things in it, like mushrooms and onions, or like garlic and Gouda, or
In
like
the croissant?
like on like a, I mean,
In
I
the
can send you
quiche.
photos of
In a
many of
quiche. I fucking
Oh,
love a quiche.
quiche,
guys,
yeah.
like a quiche. I, deve I, mm,
I feel
So
like a quiche is a little bit different than just buying something from the bakery, though. That's like a meal.
so here where I live, we have like the theme, like the cool this like cool vibe thing is these coffee carts everywhere. So like it's not like a food truck. It's like a cart, a small cart where they'll sell like coffees and these pastries, these like savory or sweet pastries. And I could go, I mean, if I had the money, I would probably go every day because there's so many different ones.
Hmm.
Travel the country and go visit all the coffee carts and eat all the savory and sweet pastries of ever and have it with a coffee and it's bomb. But I only go like once a week or something like
You know, how like people drink coffee and they like spend money on coffee and it's like $6 a day, and they're
that.
like, it's not the coffee that's the problem, blah blah blah. Anyway, I've never had coffee daily, like, because first, I don't drink coffee,
A good
but
reason.
but second, I've just been like pounded into my brain that you can't spend $6 on something a day.
Yeah.
And um I've realized that if I like, nobody ever told me that ice cream was an option instead of coffee.
You
Oh,
just want to put that at the end of your day.
Yeah,
I could spend $6 of ice cream a day.
like
yeah.
I think that in my adult job life, I might have ice cream every day.
I would guess
So
the
what?
coffee would have less health implications than $6 worth of ice cream every day.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. The ice cream place that I go to, it's on my way home from work, but they're not open on Mondays and Tuesdays. So that only gives me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think 3 times a week is doable.
I think you do that 3 times a week for a few weeks and you might get sick of it, but regardless, you should do it. And also, which kind of ice cream are we talking about here? Like, is it soft serve? Is
It's
it
soft
scoop?
serve.
Oh,
I love a soft serve.
in a cone or in a cup?
Okay, I'm a fan of like the old school cones
The
personally,
ca-
but
the
also,
cake cone, like
yeah,
this one with the
Mm.
the cake cone is so
cake
fucking
cone
good.
and soft serve is it. It's it.
It's it. Like, I don't
I'm
know
with
who's
you.
doing fucking waffle cones with soft
Oh,
serve. That's like garbage. Um,
lame.
like, we don't need to add money to our soft serve, okay? Like,
No, unnecessary. It doesn't need to be
it's
fancy. Use
it's
Zoom for your
unnecessary.
workshops and get a cake cone and soft serve with your ice. Just
The
Yeah,
simple.
soft serve is the quality. You're going for the ice cream. You're not going
Exactly.
for the cone.
that's right.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. So, when I was little, okay, my favorite candy is Nerds. Always has been, always will be. Nerds and Skittles. Okay, Ryan and I kind of float in the same boat on that end.
Hmm. Yeah.
We're fruity candy people. And when I was little, at the Dairy Queen where I lived, there was a Nerd Blizzard. Okay,
Oh,
and it sounds terrible
I don't think
for
it
your
sounds
teeth
terrible.
It
because it
sounds
is
hard on
terrible
your
for your
teeth.
teeth.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
You're
they
biting
like,
into
it's like,
frozen nerds.
yeah, you're like biting into frozen nerds, but I'm not kidding you. It's the best tasting thing in the whole world if you like fruity candy. And I went to this goddamn ice cream place that is by my work, and they have fucking Nerd Blizzards. It's, I'm screwed. I'm screwed.
sounds amazing. Sounds like you're the best kind of screwed if you have that.
It's true, absolutely true.
Mm.
We live one life, friends and family.
I like the
Let's,
gelato that we had in Italy, like a mango
oh,
gelato. I
nothing like
love
Yeah,
a
that.
gelato.
yeah. That's a
Most
really
fruit
easy
gelato.
light, you
Love
know.
it.
I don't love cold like things. I think that's why I love soft serve because it's so soft that it almost doesn't feel so cold.
Yeah, because you lick it, and by the time it gets to your teeth, it's warm.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's not getting to your teeth. I can't bite into cold things.
No.
Yeah,
Like I shiver every time I see Chaim doing it. He just like bites into popsicles and I'm like, it hurts to watch. But yeah, those are good. Those are some good stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that needs to be our end question for most people. What is your favorite baked good?
Mm,
Mm.
it's a good one.
Future interview question. Favorite baked good.
But then we couldn't talk about our favorite baked goods because everybody's heard our favorite baked goods already. We have to find something new and stupid. Like, what's your favorite type of pudding?
Or
You know,
what?
I don't like pudding.
Ew, who does? I should
I
say
love pudding.
it's not my taste. Okay, Becca likes it. Okay.
What about Jello?
I don't mind Jello.
I like a good Jello.
Why don't you like Jello, Tzipporah?
It it shouldn't nothing food shouldn't feel the way the Jello feels in my mouth.
A Jello jiggler? Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm,
You can
mm-mm,
make animal shapes.
mm-mm. I shouldn't be able to look at something solid in front of me and then slurp it into my mouth and it disappear.
Oh my God, that's the best thing in the whole world.
Doesn't really make sense to me. Like it's there, it's solid, it jiggles, and then it's gone. It's slipped down my throat. No, thank you. I'm gonna pass on the Jello. You can ask people their favorite fast food.
Ooh,
Mm.
favorite cake?
Carrot
Favorite
cake.
cake. Oh, yum, carrot cake with a
I
cream
should have
cheese
held that
frosting.
back.
Oh, yeah, Ryan, don't answer now.
Wait, everybody knows
That
your
one's not I'm
favorite
excited
cake,
about. I'm
Ryan.
not excited about pudding. Who cares about pudding?
Also, how many flavors of pudding are there?
Oh, like a billion.
Are there?
Oh yeah.
What's the
Maybe
deal
I've
with
just
tapioca? Is there tapioca in anything else or is it only pudding? I've never had it, but I hear about it.
Tapioca is
well,
boba.
boba is tapioca pearls.
Is it?
Yeah, love it.
Wait, is
Love it,
that
Ryan.
the shell of the pearl is tapioca or is
Oh,
the
well, you're thinking
inside?
of the filled
I'm
The
thinking of
like
popping
the
boba.
boba.
topping boba, but
Yeah, the black
the
balls.
black ones are chewy. That's tapioca pearls, but the popping ones are the ones that are just like a film with sugar, with syrup in it.
Yeah, those are
Mm.
gross.
So the black ones are tapioca.
Yeah, and the chewy ones, they don't pop.
I don't mind those.
No, I like those, especially if it's in a good drink. I mean, I guess only if it's in a good drink. Yeah, many a good food question to ask.
All right. Becca, I'll leave that to you. You figure out the food question.
I got you.
Come up with that category. We'll see what you got tomorrow. All right. Tzipporah, thank you for the time. Third
Thank
Thanks.
time
you.
on.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Good luck with the summit coming up. Whatever number you come up with for
Whenever
it,
it'll be,
we're
yeah,
gonna see the advertising for
2.7.
it.
2.7.
2.7 is Becca's
Becca's
feeling
number of
for that.
choice.
Where can people find you online? And they can also, if they're interested in workshops, they can purchase workshops that you've already had.
Yes. So that's also a good option for people who don't want to teach live. Maybe that makes them uncomfortable or nervous. If you want to record yourself and sell recordings of your self-teaching your skill, I think that's a super, attainable option because then you can edit out what you don't like. It takes a little more work up front. I don't edit any of the virtual workshops. I just sell the recording of the workshop itself. Um, and I think that people, yeah, that's a great way to do it. Also, if somebody wants to try doing a workshop and wants a little bit less put a little less effort in, I'm always open to hosting a workshop with people with a unique skill to offer, unique or not unique. Like use me as your guinea pig, see how it goes, or just reach out and I'll tell you exactly what I do and you can, copy and paste. I'm perfectly happy with that. So, yeah, you can find me at Sipor.ceramics on Instagram or siporceramics.com, SIPOR. And that's where you'll find upcoming workshops, previously recorded.
Yeah. Do you have a goal? You have like 3 or 4 a month, kind of,
Yeah, I'm gonna be tapering off a little bit as I focus on a few other things. But yeah, for the next few months, we've got like 4 scheduled a month about for April, May, June. And then and then
And I gotta
from there.
work with you on getting one on the calendar for yarn
Yeah.
bowls. I want to teach yarn bowls because I get questions here and there, but I want to do one for that. I feel like that's niche enough that
Yeah.
people would want to know about. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't. It's a very small segment of my business, but it's something I feel like I know enough about that I could show people.
Yeah. It's
So
super niche, but I think that for the people that want to learn it, it's a great option.
yeah.
Which I think is also important for anyone who's interested in doing a workshop, teaching something. Like, there's always going to be somebody who wants to learn what you want to teach. It's just going to be a matter of finding the people.
hmm And some people just want to learn from you of how you do it because it's not like I did one on throwing oil bottles. I'm not the only one that throws oil bottles. Like I'm sure there's
Yeah.
YouTube videos out there of how people do that. It's not like, but it's encapsulated in one workshop. They can
Yeah.
learn from me. I can talk about the selling part of the bottles, like how I sell
Yeah.
them, how I market them, how much clay I use, like all those different things. And
Yeah. Have you ever seen someone market a workshop or a class or something and been like, "Oh, that's brilliant," or like, "Oh, that's really dumb. Why are they doing that?" Like, what would be your kind of like don't do or do?
hmm. I mean, some things are niche that I'm just like not interested in learning about, but I wouldn't say that that's dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I would say most people don't need to learn about yarn bowls, but for the people that want to, it's going to be a good option.
Yeah, some of those that are so niche that you're saying there's not enough people that would want to learn. But like you said, five all it takes is five people or whatever,
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
few people. I don't know that there's been like dumb ones. I mean, some of them need to be more specific so you understand what you're gonna walk away from. Like if they're too
Mhm.
vague,
Even just in the wording of the title.
the title, or if it's like a business one, some business ones can go all over the place. That's
Yeah.
why in the description of some of the ones that we've done together, like I try to get specific of what you're gonna actually learn about, so it's
Yeah.
not learn how to, hone your creativity or something.
Yeah.
Like if it's
How
too
to be
broad,
successful.
it's really hard to because my success doesn't necessarily copy and paste to somebody else because our skills are different, our backgrounds are different, what we care about is different.
Yeah.
All the yeah, so I yeah, something that's like feels like it's like promising something like that
Mm.
rather than here are some tools that can help you diversify your income,
Or
your
here's what
pottery
I
income.
did.
Yeah, so that's what I try to, if it feels a little too grandiose of what you're gonna,
Yeah.
your results from doing something like this, it feels like it's a little over promisey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those tend to turn me away.
And do you feel like if you see a learning opportunity and it's like too much, do you ever look at something and like in the description you're like, they're not telling me that they're going to teach me how to wheel throw a cylinder. They're telling me they're going to teach me how to wheel throw 10 cylinders in an hour, turn them into mugs, surface decorate them, and, fire and sell them. Like, are you ever like, oh, too much to promise is too much? Like, where's that middle ground of like, I'm
Yeah.
teaching enough?
I, yeah, I feel like it needs to be not so many topics so that you understand that you can get deep enough in that conversation within an hour and a half or 2 hours. Because if it's something broad like that, you know that there's no way they're going to get deep enough on any of these things.
Yeah.
Because I care about like just doing this podcast, like having these deep conversations and learning the ins and outs of these questions that you're going to run into, rather than I don't want a 101 session on how to make a mug. I
Yeah.
want, you know, like Becca's side of it, how to make a mug more efficiently. I want it that focused.
Yeah. I almost feel like the workshops that I've done, because obviously that's all I can speak from is my own experience, is like the ones that are like really how to throw an oil bottle, kiln maintenance, like Becca's kiln maintenance one. Delgood had one on, designing stencils. Um, like very kind of even like Deanna's ceramic jewelry. Those are things that are like pretty specific. And I
Mhm.
think that not too niche, but like niche enough really gets the right crowd of people, like the ones that really want to learn that, like those three things under the umbrella of, ceramic jewelry or,
What
changing.
if it was something as broad as how to build a ceramic business? Like, is that too broad?
Yeah, because what does that mean? Like, there are 18 different ways to be successful. I mean, there's infinite ways to be successful, but like, if we're talking about a ceramic business, does that mean that you're having a studio or you're having a virtual studio? Are you selling work? Are you, t teaching other people how to sell? I don't know. There's so many. What
Hmm.
does it mean? No, it's too broad.
Yeah.
But like the ceramic school has that clay camp, which you're
I am teaching
participating in.
in. Yep.
Yeah.
That is coming up at the end of April.
Yeah. So that is like business focused success in like a number of ways. So it's telling you how can you have a successful business, but it's not telling you one person. One person's not telling you how to have a successful business. You've got 15
Hmm.
people telling you, you
Yeah, it's
know,
equivalent to like your summits, but it's 8 to 10. I think it's like 10 to 12 people or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
And then I'm
more
basically
people.
teaching the version that I taught with you, but it's tailored a little differently, but not too much
Yeah,
differently.
yeah. So there's so much to learn at that. That'll be great and affordable.
And they're doing it similarly where like the whole umbrella of the teaching
Yeah.
quote unquote summit or the clay camp is focused on business.
One thing specifically. And they had the surface decoration one, and yeah, they have awesome stuff, awesome offerings.
Hmm.
So yeah, think like that balance, I guess, between niche enough but not too niche, broad enough but not too broad. Easy.
Yeah. And then I think if you find something like repeating, it's not a bad idea too. Like, don't feel like you have to get everybody there once.
Yeah. I mean, we did Becca's efficiency one twice. I did one with Liz Cohen twice, the same one, taping and glazing. You know,
I did the oil bottle one with you twice. We didn't,
yeah,
and then we sold the recording. That
yeah,
there's still some little recordings that'll, you know, funnel, like pop in there every now and then. Like, and the thing is with social media, if they see your ad historically where you're talking about it, they might say that they're interested in this thing, and I say like, hey, go sign up. Like,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
recorded, but like, go pay for it and you can
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it. You know.
yeah, yeah. There's value to having that offering for the recorded.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
probably
would
not
say
getting you a ton of cash after the fact, but it's nice to have the option.
it's not, but it's something. And I think like if anyone is thinking to teach virtually, always record what you do. Don't miss that opportunity because you can use that in so many ways. You can, clip 20 seconds from what you've taught and make it a reel. So record what
If you're gonna
you're.
host the next one, you can clip some of the highlights from your last
Mhm.
recording and use that as kind of like a trailer for your
Exactly.
next like duplicate version, which is
Exactly.
basically what I do for my soda firing workshops.
Right.
I record the actual workshop while I'm there so I can get faces in it that aren't mine. I'm not promising something that has not been done
Done.
historically,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can get the excitement of like, "Ooh, man, that's really cool. Like I want to do that."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but now I'm running up to I got to start marketing it. Ugh. So
I know it's not fun. Marketing's not fun.
no, I'm like, okay, it'll be great. I got my schedule set. I got the 3 dates on there, and then I do the send the emails out, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get 4 to 5 seats sold. I got 1 seat sold in 18 seats that I have available, and now I'm like, shit, I got to start marketing it.
Now I have to work for it. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like,
I
all
know, but
right.
you know how much you love having the full house and how amazing it is. So
Yeah, the
that's
experience is
kind of
nice.
what lights the fire too, to put the work in because it's worth it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
All right. Thank you, Zipporah. Thank you, Becca.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Whale Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.